A Bedlam spring series, he says. Mediocre Mike Gundy got a lot of nerve after everything he said about OU and this Bedlam game once they decided to go to the SEC. So I'm going to say hail to the no. Let's talk. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment. Hall of Fame College Football. We'll welcome into the show Logan Litke, Zofix, Bishop Frank, Kimberly K. Glad everybody made it in this morning. Thank you for coming in to hit that like button. Bishop Frank, what's up, my guy? Was Gundy talking about, Zofix says, was Gundy talking about doing it this year? It almost sounded like he was, but I'll just say, we'll get into that in just a second. Appreciate everybody popping in here, though, with us this morning. Talk a little bit about that. We can talk a little bit about what we were into last night as well, or kind of whatever else. I was actually watching this latest interview with John Mateer. He continues to kind of impress you with his answers to, you know, kind of what's happening around spring. He's liking his targets, the guys that he's working with, you know, Javon Gibson. A lot of he was talking about a lot of the other receivers as well. And then I don't know if I got the right vibe off of what he said about tight ends. So I don't know. I'll get you guys' opinion on that as well. But I do think that this kid is really kind of pushing these guys to understand what's going on within this offense. I think they're going to be a problem for everybody. What's up there, Nathan Campbell, T Boomer? What's up, my guy? Scott Walker, welcome. Glad to see you guys in here as well. But yeah, so we didn't really talk about it enough last night. It got brought up. In fact, Kimberly K dropped it on us, I believe, about that. Or somebody did early. I think it was Kimberly K, and then it came back around later in there, and I'm glad that it got brought up. What do you guys all think about this idea that, you know, you could renew the Bedlam series for the spring game of some kind when all the whole time since they decided they were going to the SEC, all you heard Mike Gundy do was bitch and complain and talk shit about how it's all Oklahoma's fault and we're not going to do it because, I mean, why do we need to change up the way that we do things? They need to change the way they do things. If they weren't going to the SEC, it wouldn't be the problem. Yeah, whatever, bro. We all know what it's really about. We all know what it's really about. I mean, it's not that hard. Let me pop it up here and just oops. Well, that ain't it. You know. Here's the real issue for Mike Gundy. He does not want that to continue to get shittier. And I'll ask this again. I know I've said this probably a bunch of times. I mean, I'm sure you've heard me say this if I've said it, if you've been on this show before when we were talking about Mike Gundy. Who in the hell even has the opportunity to get to 4-15 against your rivals, against your biggest rival, and stay around? Make it make sense. It's just wild. Wants to practice with us. He said something about thud up, just thudding, no live play, and come on, man. Come on. It's just ridiculous. And this tells it all. Hell, they wouldn't even have gotten number 4 if it wasn't for Brent Yormark and the damn referees in that football game. And don't get me wrong, Lebby had his moments that, it shouldn't have come down to that. It shouldn't have. But the truth of it is, the dude is just flat out absolutely correct, T-Boomer. He flat out does not want to have his record get worse. And he knows it would. He never beat him as a player. I don't think he ever beat him as an assistant whenever he was there with Les. Because Les was always talking that shit and never beating him. It's a joke. Mike wants to charge $25 a person and have 2 games, one at OSU and the next at OU. Yeah. To have too much football hatred to not hit them for real. We reject. I reject. Look, to me, it's so absolutely. We were saying about BK last night. There's no reality in this guy's brain. It amazes me that these guys, the shit that comes out of their mouth sometimes, and they just act like it's, what do you mean? What's wrong with that? Everything that you said, I mean, literally, 3 Big 12 media days in a row, he spent his time on the dais talking shit about Oklahoma. Not saying a whole bunch about his team, talking shit about OU. If that's the direction spring games go, then I'm okay with the Bedlam spring game. Seems like a great opportunity for a media deal. And honestly, I don't know if there would be any other impactful feeling opponents. Yeah, but I rejected just on the face of it because he could sit there and just be completely full of shit and blame it all on Oklahoma like they didn't say, hey, let's keep it going. He's talking about things like, oh, we got our schedule 15 years out, which is horseshit, by the way. And even if you do have it scheduled out 7, 8 years, whatever, and I think that sometimes you do, it's not like you can't get out of them. Hell, we're watching teams do it all the time. If you really wanted to make the money, and that's what it amounts to. He realizes now, after last year, they didn't bring in as much money because, number one, they went 0-9 in the Big 12. 0-9 in the Big 12. And so they didn't bring in the money that he thought he should have brought in. Plus, he had to take a pay cut. Oh, man. It to me, I just say hell no. I don't agree with it. And I know a lot of people on Twitter were like, hell yeah, let's do it. Zofix, I understand what you're saying. I say no. Nebraska, yeah, I guess. Except for, I don't know. I mean, Matt Rule's kind of acting the same damn way. Whining and bitching, getting rid of games because why would I play that game? Same kind of shit. I don't like the idea that a lot of people are getting less competitive. And I'll tell you that, and I've said this for a while too, I believe that not having the Bedlam game is terrible for Oklahoma State. I think it's terrible for Oklahoma State. Competitive-wise, it's absolutely terrible for them because they don't have anybody to look at and be like, that's where they don't have a benchmark anymore. They all those Okie Light fans that, they got humbled a little bit thinking, oh, well, yeah, we're just going to dominate the Big 12 now. And they went 0-9. So now they're like, oh, shit. Well, guess what? They weren't competitive without having OU on their schedule. And they had 20 of 22 starters coming back last year. 20 of 22. Wild. I would rather see us do it with Tulsa than them. I'll just tell you that. If we're gonna do that and that kind of, I don't even know that that's the direction that it's all gonna go in. I know everybody's all excited about what Coach Prime had to say, and his quote idea. It wasn't his idea. He wasn't the first guy to talk about that shit. It's been being spoken about for weeks, or I mean years, the last 2 or 3 years. That since it started changing all this stuff up. And remember, they were bringing up having like a scrimmage of some kind or playing somebody in an actual spring game, like an FCS school, and they brought it up to Coach V, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be cool." This isn't the first time it's been brought up. Yeah, just shit the bed without us in the Big 12. Yeah, no, and that's the whole thing that I'm saying. It's look, Okie Light is what they are. They're completely, and this is just a fact. I don't care. I know it's going to piss a lot of people off. This is just a fact. They are little brother. They have an inferiority complex that goes through the roof, and they'll sit there and be pissed off and talk all kinds of stupid shit. And the stuff that they'll say to players, like, look at how they treated, the kids that transferred from there last year, to Oklahoma, whether it be in softball or football. I mean, the things that they said about Trace Ford, the things that they said about Kelly, it was fucked up. It was fucked up. And by the way, I don't understand all that stuff either. And I've seen it come from Oklahoma fans. I'm not going to just sit here and say that that's only them, but they take it to another level. There's a true level of hatred there because they are so far in that inferiority complex that they can't stand it. They can't stand it. One night, or what is it? 91, 20, and 7 overall. And which is, again, that's the real reason that they don't want to continue the series if you're not going to be in the same conference. And I think that that's exactly the same as Texas A&M. Coach was talking about that. He thinks Mike Elko can fix that. I like Mike Elko as a coach. I don't think you can fix that shit because it's inbred. It's in their DNA of who they are. It's in their DNA of who they are. Yeah, either in the regular season. That's how I feel about it. If we're not going to do it in the regular season, we ain't doing it. If Mike Gundy doesn't have to put some fucking skin in the game, then we don't need to play. What's up there, Satterfield? MT13. Pokes have problems. They do. Ganja, yeah. No, man. I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. I think that, yeah, dude. And exactly, just on principle, because of the crap that he said all that time. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched that short video that I made just a few minutes ago. Let me pull it up here. I'll share it. But how about no? How about hell no? Yeah. Yeah, and I've already got somebody in there that said, of course he's interested in doing that if it doesn't affect his record. No shit. No shit. Let me get this straight. Mike Gundy wants to renew the Bedlam series with Oklahoma, but as a spring game now, after 3 solid years of blaming OU for the series coming to an end.
The Big 12, period. It's got nothing to do with Oklahoma State. All Oklahoma had to do was not go to the SEC.
The real reason is we all know that the Bedlam series is no longer being played is because Mediocre Mike has a shit record in it. 4-15 overall. So no, Mediocre Mike, I say no way you get to have a spring game Bedlam series that doesn't put your trashy record in further jeopardy. Absolutely not. No. How about no? Just how about no? I don't know, man. It's too funny though. Didn't some OSU transfers get death threats? Oh yeah, and the things that they did to poor Kelly. I mean, and I mean, hey, I gotta say, as much as I love old Cody, he ain't right about her either. He said some shitty stuff about her too, and the way they made her feel so shitty about it, and she listen, that's probably the best pitcher they've ever had at Oklahoma State. And everything that she did for him, because Kenny Gayeki couldn't get it done with the rest of them, they gave her all that hell. And I'm convinced that she was so worked up and feeling so guilty about leaving to better her situation, which is exactly what happened, that she lost those games at in the regular season. First time they had lost a series in what, forever, and lost games at home like that. But after that, she was lights out because she finally, and I remember Patty talking about it, she's got to get over that shit. And thank God that she did. But to me, that just went to show you that, I mean, it's that inferiority complex that they have. Yeah. Bob, ooh, I love it. Yeah. Yep. Doesn't want to look like a chicken, doesn't want to count. Well, you can't have it both ways either, though. You can't sit there and say it's all because of Oklahoma. It has nothing to do with Oklahoma State. It's all Oklahoma. Yeah, because it doesn't count. Period. Point blank. Plain and simple. Nothing else to say about it. That's the fact. And it's, I mean, like I said, the fact that he would come up with it and float that out there like that, and and he still, if you notice, he still said, I still don't think that'll ever happen. That will renew the actual rivalry on the field. Okay, well then, what the fuck are we talking about? And I'm telling you, I believe that it will hurt them in the long. I think it hurt them last year that they were not that competitive. They weren't. And after all that, yeah, Okie Light goes in on the softball part of it. They go, yeah, they win that series. And then what? They were 2-Q at the World Series. Gagged it up immediately. And then sat there and talked shit about Kelly as she mowed them down throughout the rest of the World Series. She pitched she pitched better than she ever had. They are raised to be little brother. That's what I'm saying, man. And that's it. You know what? It's the same thing I was saying about A&M. They want nothing to do with being a yearly rival to Texas still. I don't know that they're getting out of it, but they don't want it. They don't want to play Oklahoma either. But I'm just telling you, I don't think that Elko. It's not that I don't think he's good. I think he's a damn good coach. I don't think that anybody can overcome that shit. Bear Bryant wouldn't be able to do it. I just don't see it, man. But when you have that mentality that that's all you think about, it's just crazy. We had Jay as our quarterback, and we beat Bam and OSU brought back all their starters and didn't win one. No, and I mean you're talking about, and it was funny to me though that last week whenever Alan Bowman, I guess he ran like a 4.5 or something like that, or maybe it was a 4.47, I think is what it was, and they were going crazy like that shit mattered at that at the Big 12 Pro Day or whatever it was. It was wild to me. That dude was trash. How the hell we lost that game doing that last year is beyond me. But yeah, I don't want another L on their record, saving face. And what will the practice even show? You see, and here's the other thing that I was gonna say. What do you gain from it if you're Oklahoma? Because I don't think that there's anything. You can't look good in it. If you beat them up, if you beat them to death, it's going to be like, oh, you just went in there to push them around and blah, 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 which you probably would. But nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care. But if you go in there and you don't look great, then what? Throw an interception or two, all of a sudden, oh, this guy fucking sucks. It'll send the part of the fan base that we want to keep quiet. They won't be quiet. It'll make them nutty. And I think it's a win-win for them. If they don't look good in it, they never look good against Oklahoma. And it didn't cost them anything on Mike Gundy's record. They didn't lose any more games in the series. They just didn't look good. They weren't supposed to. It's OU. If Oklahoma looks bad, it looks terrible. It's no good for it. I just don't see the upside for OU. Yeah, Kelly, I tell you what, though, I was glad that she went through it. And even though, I mean, it sucks that they lost their loves and all that stuff, but I just say that to me, that's what freed her up because I remember when she said, when Patty said, hey, man, she's got to toughen up. Get over it. You don't owe those people anything. And they didn't owe her. She didn't owe her them shit. She graduated there. She carried their ass. She's the winningest player of all time there, I think. Get out of here. And Kenny's a gagger. Plain and simple. I mean, they're acting like Mike White and those assholes at Texas. Quit being weak. Yeah, they don't. He's not. He's out of there. You're right. He's probably gone. No, and I'll agree with this part. I don't know why it is his decision. I have no idea why it is. Nobody will stand up to him there. And they truly do believe they truly believe that they can't do better than him. Like, I tell you this, I look at the coaches, the young coaches that are out there. If I'm Oklahoma State, I would have fired his ass this year. And you know who I would have went and made sure that I got? You guys will probably, you know who I'm going to say. Texas State, baby. It's a no-brainer. You go get that guy. Or Will Stein. You go get one of those dudes, and they would come in there and do things, or even like, hey man, there's about 4 or 5. Hey, John Summerall, why not? Will Stein, Kenny. These guys are. I mean, dude, Texas State beat the shit out of Baylor 2 years ago in that first game of the year. Beat the shit out of them. GJ is a bad dude, man. Bad dude. Will Stein, same thing, man. Listen. I know we were talking last night about their quarterback situation. Dante doesn't have a ton of experience. Well, he did play for most of the year for UCLA the year before, but everybody who's played for Will Stein has had the best year of their life. And you get a young guy that's energized and is going to go do things different. I don't understand. I mean, I can think of at least, there's 5 guys we just brought up 4 or 5 guys right there. I would go get, the other one would be, the UTSA trailer. Easy. It's not even funny, man. A guy like Jeff Braun, you know what I mean? I'd be all over him. I'd be all over him at Oklahoma too. All of these guys, I probably would. Maxwell pitched the final game winner of OU versus yeah. Yeah, it was so bad. No, and they were it was all sour grapes. They went 2-Q. They were out of it before it even really got started. I mean, hell, they just got there. And that's the other part. Yeah, they can sit there and they do that bragging stuff, but I mean, hell, it's not that hard to pull up that damn video clip of Stoops getting mugged in the end zone. Oh no. No, you gotta quit saying that in here, bro. Don't say that shit in here, Billion. Don't say that one in here.
People that are negative and voicing their opinion are the same ones that can't pay their own bills.
And that's the weird part to me is they're loyal to this asshole when he could give a shit about them. That wasn't even the only time he said that. I heard him another time saying that it's those fans that are hurting their season. Them not being there and taking care of it. That's wild to me. Ducking Gundy? No, Ducky. He's ducking it, bro. His record is 4-15. Man. Tell me a real program anywhere ever that you would be able to approach that record against your rival anywhere. I don't care how good you are. They would never allow such a thing. Could you imagine? Look, if Hugh Freeze doesn't find a way to beat Alabama this year, you know his ass is out. And they shouldn't beat Alabama most of the time. They shouldn't. They don't care. They don't care. Think about, let's pick anybody. How many times in a row would it take for Chris Kleinman to lose to Kansas? Even though I think that they got the better coach at Kansas. How many times in a row would that take before they run his ass out of town? You know? Just saying. TCU Baylor. TCU SMU. Ain't gonna take long, man. And they'll run Sark's ass out of there if he gets beat 2 times in a row by if he was to get beat 2 times in a row by Aggie. Oh hell, you got to go. You got to go. Oh man, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I can't spill that tea. You'll know what you'll know it was me that was what I was referring to when you hear it. It's coming, man. It'll be out there. Yeah, man. I'm not doing that. Don't be low-key rooting for him is what I said. Don't be doing that shit in here. Don't do it, Billion. I'm just messing. I don't give a shit really, but I understand a lot of Okies are like that. I am not. I cannot be that way. Fuck them. And because of the way they are, listen, man. It'd be one thing if they had any kind of humility whatsoever or any kind of respect for the fact that we beat the shit out of them all the time. At everything. Come on. Hey, we might even get old Cody Stovall to bust his balls about it in here. He said he's installing a washer and dryer, then he'll hop in. Come on with it. Come on. But look, man, I know we all know Okie Light fans. We all do. Hell, K. Chris finished up his law degree at Okie Light, man. I think he's low-key stilly himself. I'll bust his balls about that too. Can't do it, man. I cannot. No, I'm not being sensitive. I'm just fucking with you, dude. Relax. I don't even care. I'm just messing with you. Relax. Now and you're not wrong there. They lost money there, and that's, you know what? The reason that he was doing that is because he knew they were just about to get paid. They dropped that $250 on him from T-Boon's inheritance stuff or whatever his, all the money that he's donated there. And think about that. I don't think Gundy would still be here if T was still alive. If old Pickens was still alive, he'd be gone. Because they weren't getting along as it was. And you can't go back and forth with the dude that's donating all that shit. Yeah, they're wrestling pro yeah, but I mean, I don't even think they're killing it this year that much, but and their golf program is fantastic. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. But look at like, what's the name of that coach that, the women's basketball coach? It's, and she got all butt hurt at Jenny after when they celebrated winning all that stuff. Man, I'm just busting your chops, man. Don't get mad at me. I was just busting on you. Just can't be giving a lot of love to Okie Light in here, man. It'll make me throw up. Can't be throwing up on the air. Their wrestling program has been real. Their wrestling program has been real. Their basketball program used to be something good. They're not anymore. JC Hoyt, that's the one. Yeah. She's kind of a hottie, but she's an idiot. Talks all that shit. And they hadn't gotten it done either. They threw that big shit fit or whatever. And they keep beating them there too. And she was getting pissy. She's pissy about it. She can't handle it. But that's how they all act. That's how they all act. It's like you have to be that person to go coach it at Okie Light. That's why I'm not too sure that I get why they're not, I'm telling you, if I was to be like become AD or something like that over there, I would gut that program and go after a guy like GJ Kinney, and we're changing everything. Everything. But I don't know. I just don't know that it's doable. I just don't know that it's a do, and I know that it isn't an A&M. I think if the legislature in Texas would allow them, they would head off to the Big Ten. A&M would. And make no mistake about it, Okie Light doesn't want to be in the same conference as Oklahoma anymore either. They were good back when they had big. Hey, listen, Eddie was a great coach. Eddie was a great coach, man. But what have they done since then? Nothing. I think they've been in the tournament, 2 or 3 times since Eddie, 20 years since Eddie left. This is a fact. And that's what I was talking about yesterday. Even with women's, men's, it doesn't matter. Whatever the sport is, if you think that you're going to compete in it without NIL, you're sorely mistaken. And look, and a lot of that falls on the fan base too. If you want to keep them around, you better find a way to I mean, come on. If you were to throw 10, 15, $20 a month, that's nothing. We blow money like that. I get it. A lot of it. I mean, shoot, I'm not even in the greatest financial shape right now. I understand. But you got to throw something at it if you really want the program to excel, because it takes more than that. Why do I think Texas A&M would rather be in the Big Ten? Because they want nothing to do with Texas. Want nothing to do with Texas. I mean, go look at Twitter. They talk about it a lot. Hate them. And right away, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I hate Texas too. But when Del Conte immediately and goes get that Schlossnagel move was just brutal. They lose the national championship game in baseball, and the day before he had come in scouting it, and he comes in and makes him agree to go to Texas. Dude, that was an epic meltdown right there. Epic meltdown. But they are definitely soft. Yeah, they are. That was probably one of the nastiest. That was nasty work what they did. What they did to A&M with Slosh. But what a piece of shit he is, though. You know? I mean, I don't know, man. I guess there's another side of me that's like, hey, man, find a way to keep him. Pay him up. Hiding in the graveyard. That was wild, bro. That was nasty work. Yeah, he's crazy, man. He's crazy. Are they firing Rodney Terry finally, or what? Did they fire Rodney Terry yet? Hey, man, the cult. They're definitely odd. They're definitely odd. I've been to multiple games there covering them, And I can tell you that I didn't like going to night games there. You gotta get the hell on out of there whenever those are over. Don't need to be there. What's up there, David Whitehead? Fence post? Yeah, I mean, it's just oh, dude. Yeah, he did that. Yeah, he did TCU pretty raw whenever he left there, huh? Yeah. Or no, you're talking about Slosh. He did the same thing. Well, and it was because of but well, Del Conte had been at he hired him there, right? Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, he had built something and it was just it was the stuff that he was saying to him. I mean, it wasn't a good secret. I mean, everybody knew what was going on, that they were working at it. That's what I mean, that's clear. But if that's the case, and I mean, to me, I don't know. I've heard things that the new AD was like he wasn't really he. I don't think he really worked very hard to try to keep him around, and I don't know why. You just got the job, man. Trent from Nebraska. That was weird, but Del Conte also had hired him at TCU, so it made sense. You think he hated College Station? I don't know, man. They had that ballpark is insane. They were, I mean, the money was right. He had great players. They were in the national championship game. Well, how could you hate it? I mean, well, I guess I understand. Yeah. Wow, that was quick. Huh? Yeah, he already had it. He had it ready to go. Sean Miller, huh? I don't know that was even better. I like Sean overall. It's his brother that's the dumbass though, or that was at Arizona. Is that right? Yeah. Those midnight yells are odd, bro. They're pretty odd. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I'll just say this. Nobody gives a shit about each other. I mean, when it comes to Oklahoma and Texas, that's as nobody cares. They're not. They think that look, and here's the thing. They could even nail it down with this year having the easiest damn schedule, them in Mizzou. But I don't know that they do. I don't know that they do, man. I think that there's a lot that they have to make up for this year. A lot that they have to make up for at Texas. I think they're talented everywhere. There's no two ways around it. But when it comes to any kind of, I mean, which one of these guys have experience? He didn't even hit the portal very hard. And I don't know what's going to be in this portal after the spring. There might be a few, and I think that you'll be battling for them. Did OU spend? No, they didn't. That was actually the NIL deal was done through Jordan Brand. They offered her a deal. See, this is what we're talking about. So Texas Nightmare, yeah, I don't even know why I'm allowing you to hang, to be quite honest with you, because you're always in here running that mouth. But this is a funny. I'll tell you another. Texas or the Texas Tech fans, Lubbock people are losing their shit over Aaliyah Chavez. Losing their shit. That you want to talk about how Okie Light did poor Kelly? It's kind of the same thing here. And she's a fucking high school kid. I don't remember the last time a Lubbock school won a state championship in anything. And I think she won multiple state championships while they were there. She was unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're straight weird there. And it's beyond corny, though, is the weird thing, dude. There's just some odd stuff that happens. Some odd stuff. College Station's a weird place, man. Can somebody please explain to me how Texas was dog crap for 20 years and then they finally put back-to-back winning seasons together? Now they're masters of the universe. They're not, though. That's the whole thing. Is that look, they're getting all the love, and Sark's getting all that love. And look, those are the first 2 times that he's been over 10 wins. And don't get me wrong, you got to give them their props for what they did, even though it was against a training wheel schedule. But at some point, you have to know that you're going to have to win some of these games against teams that have equal or more talent, like against Ohio State or against a Georgia like that. He still isn't doing that. Still doesn't do it. Tried to lose the game to Arizona State. Don't tell me Arizona State was better, because they weren't. They play with their food a little much. They let teams stay too close. They play down to it. It happens. And I think that Arch is really, really good. I do. I think he may end up being better than Quinn. I think that he's going to have a hard time in his first year when you got all new receivers pretty much. Other than Ryan Wingo, out of your top 6, he's the only one coming back. I don't know. And you're still losing other guys on that as far as your coaching staff. I don't know, man. That defense was really, though, as good as it was. And again, I temper that by saying they didn't play a ton of really good offensive teams all throughout the year, but they did put it up. They did put up numbers on the defensive side of the ball, and they looked really good against Oklahoma for sure. Their trenches were better, but now they're all new guys in the trenches other than Colin Simmons. And he's the second-year guy. But no Makuba, no who was the guy that won the Thorpe Award? He's gone. 14 guys gone. You can't continue to have that many dudes going and you're just going to reload and be the best. I don't understand why people are picking them to win the Natty. I don't. I think LSU's got a much better chance. I don't know what I think about Georgia, though, either. Yeah, that's true. They spent money. Who spent money? Oklahoma? They spent some money. So? Okay, but not – they had new receivers for them, but they've had good receivers from coming into the portal. Wasn't Xavier Worthy like him and what was the other guy? They both went, obviously, last year. But the guys that they've had to develop themselves haven't come along. That's always been portal dudes. So now what? You didn't really go in the portal this time. Now, and I think Wingo's good. I don't know. I don't understand why everybody's acting like he's the second coming of Jeremiah Smith, because he isn't. There you go. Tell it to him, Duke. Where you been, man? I ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you. But where was those numbers last year? Like I said, you talk about him being a freak show, and I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's good. He had one game over 100 yards last year. One. He had another one where he was at 70 or more. He had 2 touchdowns. Jeremiah Smith had freaking 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns. Come on. We'll see. We'll see. I think that they've got some guys, though. Okay, so all right, fine. Maybe I was a year off. You know what? Sometimes that happens. But I'll tell you this: all those guys now they're down 14. So that means 25 guys in 2 years. You don't have a ton of experience. Is the point? You don't have a ton of experience. 4 brand new offensive linemen. Is CJ Baxter going to come back good? I think that your running back situation is good. I don't have it. And honestly, and I told you last year, if you're talking about last year, what did I say last year? Do you worry about them that much on the offensive side because of Sark? Probably not. Probably not. Sark's one of the best play callers in the country. Now he can also get, a little stuck sometimes and not finish it off like, against Ohio State when you're down on the goal line and you don't run the football and you turn it over and it's a touchdown. Well done, Sark. We'll see, man. Yeah, Golden and Moore were the guys that they were big time. They were big time. And even Isaiah Bond went down. He had an opportunity to step up and be the guy then. He really didn't. Oh, are you the golf coach? That's cool. Got district next week. Tascosa. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of them. And it seems to be those guys that end up over there too. I'll tell you what, Jonte Cook, is he anywhere? Did he pop up anywhere else? I heard he just got arrested or some shit. Dumbass. That's bad. That's a shame, man, because he's got talent. I was really glad when Oklahoma did not go after him. Nah, I don't think so. Here's what I think. I think that part of the reason that you didn't see them make as big of a move for Jonathan Hatton is I think that they've got such a big stacked room at running back. As far as talent's concerned, you've got some guys that have already been around for a while. When that DeMarco loves Javonte, and he apparently same thing with Sawchuk. But you've got 3 young guys that are ready to rock and roll, and you're spending a lot of money in there. I don't see, and your needs are elsewhere. Your need is cornerback for experience-wise. Here's the thing. I think that I'm hoping, and maybe it's just beyond hope, but I'm hoping Gentry's okay. It seems like something was misdiagnosed last year. They didn't do the right thing, and he was out, right? So, I don't know. But I also think that they've got a lot of really good talent in their room. That it's young, it's unproven, but so is Eli Bowen, and he was a freshman All-American as a 3-star. So all this bullshit the Texas guys are talking about, Ketch's dumbass talking all that shit. Hey, look at this. We're about to have some fun. We're about to have some fun. Hold on real quick. Welcome into the show. Our boy from Locked On Okie Light.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, big dog? What you doing, man?
I'm celebrating what hopefully is Caden Batman Jones Day in Stillwater, America. How are you?
Yeah, I don't want to hear about that shit because that's not cool. And hey, first thing we're going to talk about, we'll get into Jones in a minute.
Okay.
What's this shit about the damn Bedlam spring game bullshit? Tell me you're not in loving that.
I'm sorry, buddy. I do absolutely love it. Listen, if we cannot,
now we already got to kick him out, folks. I already got to kick his ass out.
If we can't have a real Bedlam game, why not have this? And this is something that Gundy has talked about for a few years now, is doing something different on the spring game, because the spring game in general has lost a little bit of luster. So the idea of going up against other competition makes total sense. It also makes total sense that if you can get somebody close to you, that's best for both worlds. Dude, I was even thinking we could do a spring with UCO or Hutch or Butler or something to that effect. Just because you know how it is, man, when you get to this point in time in the season, you want to go up against other people, right? And you really, as a coach, you don't know what you have if you're going against your own dudes. I think a perfect example would be this previous season. Oklahoma State defensive line in the spring.
So fast. Relax. Take a breath. Take a breath.
Shit. I'm fired up about it. But
hey, man, I'm gonna tell you, it's bullshit. And first off, all that shit he talked for the last 4 years since Oklahoma decided they were going to the SEC about it's all Oklahoma's fault and blah blah blah. You know damn good and well why he doesn't want to play the damn the Bedlam game. Actually, it's not about we're scheduled up 15 years out. Don't give me that shit either.
So why don't you tell me why? Why would Gundy not want to play Bedlam?
Here you go. Right there. He doesn't want that to get worse.
Bro, he's won 2 of the last 3. You living in the past is absolutely preposterous.
4 out of 19, and the last one he won because
this is the most OU argument of all time. Living in the past.
Are you serious?
Mike Gundy, I think, understands the lay of the land. It would be intelligent to have Bedlam back.
He understands the lay of the land, and he went 0-9 in his first year without OU.
Yeah, and that's why we have 17 new coaches.
Get out of here, dude.
We have 17 new coaches because of what happened last year. I'm actually, you know what? I'm a little surprised that OU are most OU fans butthurt like yourself when it comes to this.
Butthurt about it. I'm saying,
you seem pretty damn butthurt about it. You're over here talking about
in the game and play the fucking game. No, I think you should play the game. You know exactly what I believe about the game, not a spring practice stud up. No, let's play the damn game.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen. There's no way it can happen for the next 8 years. So for the next 8 years, why would we not have a Bedlam spring game?
You know how many schools around the country have canceled games out of conference?
Do you really expect Oklahoma State to cancel their series with Arkansas and Oregon and Bama to squeeze in fucking OU? No, dude. What are you talking about?
Why not?
It doesn't make sense. Why would you replace those teams? Why would you replace Alabama and Oregon to play fucking OU, dude? Why would you do that?
Well, yeah, when your record is what it is against OU, I get it.
2 of the last 3. What you're saying is such an old school foot and mouth argument. I honestly expected you to have a better argument other than, historically speaking, Gundy sucked against OU. Oklahoma State had a terrible year last year. What does this have to do?
Hold on. You're going to sit there and try to tell me that the reason that he doesn't want to play it is not because of that damn record not wanting it to get worse.
I think he doesn't want to play it because he's butthurt about OU leaving the SEC, to be 100% honest with you. And again, historically speaking, yeah, it doesn't make sense for Mike Gundy to play OU because he's done so terrible. But when you've won 2 of the last 3, and don't sit here and pretend that the last 15 years, that 11 of the last 15 years have come down to a touchdown.
We still beat you though. They still beat you.
Okay, that's a great story. But you're sitting here acting like OU steamrolled us by 60 points for 20 fucking years.
First off, both of those, I could make an argument for both of those losses being bullshit because the whole deal.
Yeah, okay, make that argument. Make that argument.
They tackled Drake Stoops in the fucking end zone. That was a touchdown.
You mean the same Drake Stoops that was too weak to get an extra yard? That same Drake Stoops? The same Drake Stoops that stepped out of bounds on the very play that you're talking about. You're saying I can give you an argument. No, you cannot.
He got tackled before the ball got there. Did he not?
He stepped out of bounds before any of that even happened. So what are we talking about?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
I recommend that you go back and watch it.
Just so you could get really pissed off. Lincoln threw the second one, the one in 2021, was thrown to you.
You mean when Caleb Williams got sacked?
Mm-hmm. He ran the same.
So hold on.
Plays in a row.
You're saying that Caleb Williams gave up on the play, or
not?
What?
Caleb Williams. Lincoln Riley called the same play over and over and over and over. He threw the game because he wouldn't have been able to take the SC job.
That is so cute. I'm a little surprised that you have this many.
Dude was recruiting for SC since Iowa State that year.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
He was recruiting for USC since Iowa State that year.
That's probably very accurate.
It's not probably, it's a fact. There's players that have said it. There's players that have said it.
Right.
So we know that was going on.
Anytime Oklahoma State beats OU, it's because you got robbed.
You those two.
OU got robbed every time, right?
Oh, you got robbed in the last one. They did.
That makes sense. I'm assuming every time you lose to Texas, you got robbed too. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Probably.
No. You can lose to Texas. That happens. It's rare that it ever happens.
We didn't We didn't lose to Texas for 12 out of 15 years.
Well, Oklahoma's won about the same amount.
Do you hear us making excuses?
Do you want to go back and
look
at Oklahoma's record against Texas in the last 20 years too? Or actually, since you can go back to freaking desegregation, and we
you're the one up here trying to pretend that the only way that Oklahoma State can beat OU is if we get lucky, we get help from the ref.
That's not what I said.
Lincoln Riley throws the game.
He did throw the game.
His weak sauce.
He threw the game, bro. He did. He called the same play over and over again.
Well, I don't ever want to hear. I don't ever want to hear. I don't want to hear you.
That was the best defense I've ever seen at Oklahoma State, too.
2021.
They were winning by 10 late in the game and fell apart all of a sudden.
Yeah, 2021 and 1984 are the two best defenses in Oklahoma State history.
They were nice.
And honestly, dude, I mean, you can talk about Lincoln Riley all you want, but Caleb Williams did go win the Heisman. I think that Caleb Williams did put on a pretty phenomenal performance.
Listen, I didn't say it was Caleb. I don't think that the kids had a thing to do with it. I think that I'm telling you, he called the same play that was getting blitzed like crazy
on purpose.
At least 5 times in a row.
On purpose because he wanted to lose Bedlam.
Yes. I will forever say that. Here's the reason. If they have to go and play in the conference championship and then at that point, or say you're going to get to the playoff, you can't leave now and you can't go recruit. He's not leaving. You're not going to leave if you've got a playoff run. He didn't want that. Shit. I'm telling you, dude. I think he was trying to fucking throw the Texas game.
I think it is an outlandish statement to say that he purposely lost.
I want you to think about this for a second. I'll stop with this conversation because I'm just fucking with you mostly. But I'm going to say this about Lincoln and
No, you're not. You believe in this shit you're saying. You wholeheartedly believe in what is coming out of your mouth right now.
Let me explain to you something real quick. The Texas game. The year before, when he pulled Spencer Rattler out of the game the year before and put Chandler in quickly, right? I mean, they weren't down. I don't even think they were down, but maybe a score. And he jerked his ass out of that game immediately, got him under control and put him back in, and they went ahead and won. He waited till it was 28-7 to put Caleb in the next year. And Caleb's a damn sight better than the other guy was. Why? Explain that to me. Because he knew that he thought that Caleb it's the biggest comeback in Red River history. He didn't think he was going to do that, pull that off.
Right. Wasn't that the beginning of NIL? Didn't they pay Spencer Rattler pretty handsomely? And there was a lot of donors that wanted to make sure that he was still playing, at least to some degree.
Hey, listen, by that, I remember Stoops being up there doing Fox Sports, and he was taking up for Spencer big time before the game. And then, he waited too long. A year, but I'm just saying, think about it. A year before, Spencer is out of the game immediately.
I know, but there was no NIL then. There was no NIL then, right? So there probably wasn't as much pressure.
Was there already? In the end, the point is, though, Chandler Morris, we expected him to be like one of those guys, too. He almost won the job.
I mean, I think even some of his stops afterwards were pretty successful.
Well,
but yeah, no, I mean, I understand the sentiment because y'all hate Lincoln, and I think you should hate Lincoln.
Just that you hate Lincoln. It's look.
He did you dirty.
See some of those things that he did, and you know that he wasn't right. As talented as they were, and they were holding on by a thread all year. All year, they almost lost to Tulane at home.
Tulane was pretty good.
They won 2 games that year, bro. 2.
Oh.
They won 2. It's not true.
And they ended up being good. How about that?
They almost lost to West Virginia at home. Hell, if it wasn't for Caleb Williams somehow pulling that ball back out of the belly of Eric Gray, they lose to Kansas on the road.
I forgot about that.
I'm telling you, bro, it was weird and wild stuff. And Caleb Williams is putting up numbers, and they're still almost losing their ass.
Getting back to the task at hand, why are you against a spring game?
I just don't think that you should let him off the hook for all that shit. I don't. I think that you should play a real game. Here's my problem with all of it, and you know this is a fact.
But don't you think it's a good idea for these spring games to bring in other schools?
No, I don't have a problem with that. I think you're better off, but you're better off going up against Tulsa or whoever. I think that you should have an actual game with Okie Light.
I agree with you, but if we can't have one, why are you against the spring game?
You can have one. It's a refusal to have one. That's the difference.
Okay.
Because look at Matt Rule. He just canceled a bunch of games from Nebraska. Lincoln's been doing it. They're doing it everywhere. You can do it. And they make more money. They make more money to play that game. You know it and I know it, which is why he wants to do the spring game so they can make a little cash.
I think it's more of getting a proper look. I don't think Mike Gundy gives 13 shits who we play in the spring game. It could be UCO. It could be Hutch. It could be NEO. It doesn't really matter. It's only about getting your guys reps against other competition so you truly know what you have. Mike Gundy's being intelligent by just going 71 miles down the road for a team that's going to have equal, if not better, talent. So you're really going to know where Oklahoma State stacks up if you do have a somewhat spring game against OU. But again, if it's against UCO or Hutch or Edmond,
I don't care who it is. I don't really care who it is. I'm telling you that this.
But it geographically makes sense. And you saying they should go do it against Tulsa if Oklahoma State is available is pretty ridiculous. It's the same for Oklahoma State. Why would you go scrimmage UCO if you can get OU?
Look, because I think he's being completely disingenuous about all of that.
But you're being a butthurt fan instead of viewing it from a football perspective. What would be best for OU? A spring game against another university. Why would you not go 70 miles down the flipping road against equal competition? What you're saying is absolutely ridiculous, dude.
He said that. They're not.
You would rather scrimmage Tulsa?
He said they're not going to go live at all. They'll thud. They won't even play all the way. And which I don't think is probably going to happen because they hate each other. They're going to end up hitting.
That's probably why we should go thud, because there would be some live animosity. But again, it's more about, from what I've gathered, it's more about the individual drills, right? Having your CBs go up against our wide receivers and vice versa.
I don't think that's what Gundy's about at all in this. I think he's trying to he's being disingenuous to what the whole thing is. He's pissed off, just like you said, that he didn't get drug along with Big Brother this time to the SEC. Like he would have gotten drug along to the Pac-12 and everything. Hey, listen, I get it. But the point is it's disingenuous to sit here and say that you can do this, but you can't do the other, because we know damn good and well you could. And it could happen.
I appreciate and respect your opinion, but I can tell you from the conversations I've had with the coaches on staff, all it is wanting to get individual understanding of where they sit. So it will be more one-on-one drills than anything else. They want to know if their offensive tackle can stop your best defensive end. That's it.
Here's what I would tell you, that it's only good for Oklahoma State, though, because Oklahoma cannot look good in this. They can't.
That is a retarded statement.
It's not a retarded statement. Think about what
listen to yourself. Listen, you're talking like a fan instead of somebody in the media landscape.
I'm being real here.
What's best for OU is to go scrimmage Tulsa. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying Tulsa. I said it could be anybody. I'm saying I don't want to see.
It could be anybody except for the other Power 4 D1 up the road. Bro, listen to yourself talk.
Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Oklahoma State is not expected to ever do anything. You guys don't even expect to do anything good against OU at this point. You don't. You know you don't.
Where are you getting this from?
Stop.
Where are you getting this from?
If OU looks bad on a couple of series, they're going to get raked over the coals for it.
Bro, I want to know what OU fans you're talking to that legitimately think that what you just said is a factual statement.
I think it's real.
You just said Oklahoma State fans don't want to play OU
in your conference, man.
Hold on. Didn't you just say Oklahoma State fans don't want to play OU? Yeah? That's what you said, correct?
Oklahoma State fans don't want to play OU.
Okay, I didn't realize you knew more O State fans than I did. That's all. I've only heard that from a handful of people, and I tell those handful of people, don't be a ridiculous
not
idiot.
Even fans. He doesn't want to play them, period. I just told you, look, it's right next to you. 4 wins, 15 losses.
You're right. He doesn't want to play them, but he wants to play them in a spring game to see how he stacks up against competition.
He doesn't. He's trying to make a little extra money, and still it's disingenuous after all the shit he's been saying and whining and bitching since the announcement came down. It's disingenuous, and I don't think they ought to do it. You ought to have to put your skin in the damn game, and he ain't wanting to do it. He wants to have his cake and eat it to not have to play Oklahoma. That's it. I don't know why you even still have that man coaching there. For your sake, as my buddy, I can't imagine why you guys are still on his side. I don't understand. I don't know. GJ Kinney. There's a million dudes out there that would be 1,000 times better than this guy.
We'll see how this year goes. If this year isn't drastically different, then I do think that there is going to be some difficulty, because you do have to put in perspective percentage-wise. The first time I ever came on your show 2 years ago, there was probably 15%, maybe 10% of Oklahoma State fans that were done with Gundy. After this previous season and throughout all of the Board of Regents crap, I would say that climbed to like 40%.
Cody, I watched you wanting him to be gone, and then when he somehow clawed himself out of that hole, you were happy about it.
Well, I appreciate you kind of putting words in my mouth, but I have been very open on both your show and my show that what I said was, if Mike Gundy refused to get rid of Casey Dunn once again, then he damn sure needs to be fired, because he's walking around with a blindfold on.
They needed to fire him.
Whether he did it willingly or not only did he get rid of Casey Dunn, he got rid of every single coach on the staff not named Sean Snyder. So again, am I happy with the season? No. Do I like the way that Gundy handled it? No. Do I think there should be penalties for him bringing back Casey Dunn for years? Absolutely. But he did take a $1.25 million haircut. He did take a 15.
I had to put that.
I don't even know why. I don't even know why you have me on here.
The same ones that can't pay their own bills.
I love you. You know this. I'm just fucking with you. I have to do it.
This is pointless. This is absolutely pointless.
Look, you're all butthurt. Check you out.
You're the one being butthurt. I thought that you were going to come on this conversation and do it from a half-assed professional standpoint, but instead you're just getting butthurt talking about how it's not good for OU. They'd be better off playing Tulsa.
I don't think that you should. I think you should play the game. And I've told you before that I also think that, you know why I really think that you guys weren't that good? You had 20 or 22 starters back. You know why I think you weren't that good? The competitive.
I told you why we're not very good, but you're not going to listen.
I did hear you. I'm saying I think it has as much to do with the fact that the competitive juices are not in you when you're not playing. And you guys, even you were acting different last year when Oklahoma was leaving. It changed things in a lot of Okie Light fans. It did. They weren't happy about it. I know that's a fact. And here's the thing, though. Not having that game to get up for, even if whether you think you can win it or lose it or not, I'm not trying to bust your balls here. I've told you before, I think competitive-wise, it's the worst move that Oklahoma State could have done, to not play that game. No matter what, it's somebody that you can measure yourself against year after year after year, just like you always have, and you would know something because of that. It would be a big deal for you in a lot of ways, and I think that not having that on your schedule and the belief that was going permeating around there that y'all were going to run through that fucking league without Texas and OU there, it was not good for the program.
No,
it's not. And I think it's going to continue to not be good for the program. I'm telling you that. I think that they should play every year. And this,
I agree with you.
College football, what's wrong with college football? But if we can't
mother effing play, why would you not have a spring game?
I don't think it's not even kind of the same thing, bro. It's not even kind of the same thing. It's not.
Okay.
It's not. And that's what I'm getting. I busted your chops. I'm doing that, and I'm not really trying to get you all butt hurt and upset here. What I'm telling you is, I think
you're not being objective at all. There's 0 ounces of objectivity in this conversation.
Would you listen to what I'm saying for just 1 second? I'm telling you that what's wrong with college football at large. What did I say in my column before? What's wrong with college football at large? You're getting so far away from all of it that people have been happy about and love the game for. You're trying to get down to 48 teams or whatever the hell it is instead of being at least at half the country. That's not good either. None of this taking away rivalries is going to hurt the game. And that's a fact.
100%.
And I think as big as I think that at large is, I hate that. And listen, man, I believe that Oklahoma's going to beat Okie Light more times than not. But that I still love the idea of playing the football game because it's real. You hate each other for weeks and weeks leading up to it. And some of those years, they're fun. It's fun football, man.
Yeah,
and
I don't disagree.
And you're going to see less of that shit going forward. And I think it's a bad thing, man. I think it's a bad thing. So no, I don't want to play a fucking spring game. I want to have the real Bedlam game. That's what I want. And I think you can. So I don't know why he would talk about we can do that, but we're never going to do this.
He never said, and not only did he never said that we'll never play him again, but he also doesn't get to make that decision.
I don't think it's ever going to happen, but that's just me. His
opinion a year ago was, there's no need for us to play OU. But he also said last year that it's not up to him. If Chad Weiber came to him and said, "Hey, we're bringing back Bedlam," he would say, "Oh, okay." He's already mentioned this. Now, I think some of his statements were him being butthurt about OU leaving the conference. I wholeheartedly believe that.
I agree with that part.
But again, you guys keep going back to this. It can happen. It can happen. Go look at the mother effing schedules for the next 8 years and tell me how it can happen. How it can happen.
Because the people get out of those games all the time. That's why. Are you not paying attention to what's going on around the country?
But it'd be one thing if we had Illinois State
just got rid of the games with Tennessee.
You're
he
right.
doesn't want to play Oklahoma either. He doesn't want to play Oklahoma either. Even Matt Rule, he's like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? I'm in the Big Ten. I don't need to do that. What the fuck? What do we really?
I don't know.
I didn't know Matt Rule was a freaking yellow dog. I didn't. But he is. Why would you not want to play at Tennessee? That's a huge game for you to have in the non-con. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. None of it does. And I think that you're better out in this day and time. Like, it makes zero sense to me why you would take away the tough games. Lincoln's doing it, trying to get rid of all that. He's trying to get rid of the fucking Notre Dame game at USC. The Notre Dame game. Why? You don't have to be undefeated to get to the playoff. You can win, you can lose 2. You might be able to lose 3 depending on what your schedule's like.
Yeah. It's all about the conference championship and just getting in nowadays.
Yeah, and they're going to just make it bigger. It's going to at least go to 14 and probably 16. It makes no sense to play shittier games instead of playing a rivalry that matters to people.
Again, I agree, but your recommendation would be to us cancel the Alabama, Oregon, and Arkansas series to squeeze in OU.
Who else you got during that time?
Tulsa.
Okay. You could get rid. I'm not saying keep Alabama or get rid of Alabama. I don't know. You want to play Alabama? You want to deal with that?
Hell yeah.
Okay. But I'm saying one game here, one game there. I understand all that. I get where you're at on that. But that doesn't mean I'm of the opinion that we need to see more non-conference play crosswise because they're going to have to balance these schedules out a little bit. They are.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the best way to see it. And I don't know that that's going to happen because I think that the SEC and the Big Ten are going to do what they want to do. Although I hate that part, I do. The spring game, Brandon Snake says, let's listen to what we've just been yelling at each other. They're yelling with us here in the comments. How many Texas, Oklahoma colleges with football programs are there a bus ride away? I think it's crazy to not have the game because of that. I think that you make so much money at that game. I think that's tough, man. I think it's tough. And so I get why you want to do something with it because it does make money. Oklahoma State went 0-9.
I don't think any of this has anything to do with money. I don't think either university would be looking to make a profit off of a spring game.
No.
Like, what are you going to charge for tickets? Like $5?
Look, the reason that Oklahoma didn't play in the spring game this year for sure is because of the injury situation. I think that's it's still hanging over, and they're worried about it. They don't want to see it.
Well, and it's the same. 2 years ago, Mike Gundy canceled our spring game, and the excuse was the stadium. But it was because we had a new team with 25 new transfers, and he didn't know what the hell he was going to be able to roll out there. Yeah, so I think more than anything,
chops that day. But I didn't really It didn't bother me.
What?
It was, and that was one of the earlier ones, and then you've seen Ole Miss has already.
I had to have fun with it. I had to, because OU fans were calling us a poverty university that can't even have a spring game. So whenever OU canceled their spring game, I had to have fun with those fans.
I knew I didn't say shit to you about it.
Yeah,
I didn't say.
And you told me it was a small percentage, but nonetheless, right? I thought it was kind of ironic that we were getting dumped on when Gundy canceled the spring game, and then we bring our spring game back. You guys cancel your spring game, and nobody says anything about it. So I had to poke some fun at you.
I got to tell you, a lot of Oklahoma fans are very unhappy about that shit.
As they should be. I mean, I think, especially in this NIL era, you have to do something as a sales pitch, right? To convince people this is a brand that you need to get behind. This was a running back. And if you don't have a spring game, it kind of covers some of that up. In my opinion, you lose some of the marketability aspects of the spring game. If you don't,
well, and I also think for your fan base, it's as big as anything because of the fact that there's a lot of games that you can't afford to go to if you're a family of 4 or 5 people during the regular season. The game is getting out of reach for a lot of people.
And I talked about that in my show, why I'm so happy we brought the spring game back for that very reason. Like, I grew up in a situation for a large part of my early life where we couldn't afford tickets, right? So, but they had this deal where you could go to baseball games for free after the 7th inning. You could go to basketball games for free after halftime. So me and my dad went to tons of events, spring games, things of that nature. Now, eventually he got to a position where he bought season tickets, but before that, the spring game was it for us. And I knew that as a kid. Like, that was my crescendo of the year, was getting to go to Oklahoma State spring game, because we weren't going to be able to go to any of the regular games. And I feel like whenever you do not have a spring game, you alienate that portion of the fan base, because there's going to be tons of locals that can't afford to go to very many games, if even one game. So if you take away the spring game, I think you're losing some of that connection with the local fan base that you really kind of need, especially in down years. In down years, you need your fan base to be at its highest, and I think we've missed the boat a little bit on that recently.
No, I agree. And but Shawty, before you get too much talking shit about Georgia having their spring game, don't forget, bro, that they're not going to put it on TV though. And he's not worried about about poaching or none of that shit, but they're not going to put it on TV anymore. Come on, bro. I would take you up on the tickets if I was in the area.
I think whomever, anybody plays, I do think that the spring game should be against other companies. And Mike Gundy, in his credit,
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Gundy's been saying this for 4 years now, right? And
a lot of people have been talking about it for a while,
right? And but everyone's giving
Coach Prime Coach Prime's getting all the credit for it, right?
I was about to say, everyone's saying this is the new Dion rule. It's like, no. There's been coaches talking about this for years. Like, what? Calm down.
I remember them bringing it up to Venables his first year, and he was like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome."
And I think, again, we just mentioned it. If you have a spring game against other competition, it could be UCO, North Texas, Texas State. Doesn't matter.
I agree with you. I think you're probably better off to go with like an FCS just for the. I mean, it might be good for recruiting. I don't know. I don't think you're trying to give up too much to anybody that you might end up playing. I don't know what the balance is. It doesn't really matter. I think that it's a good idea to have something like that, though. I don't have
and Bedlam specifically would be good for the state, and what you just mentioned. There's going to be a lot of individuals that can't afford to go to regular season games for both schools. So if you have a $5 spring game and you do a home and away thing, I think it makes a perfect amount of sense. But again, I personally don't care if it's OU or not. I just want to make sure that the spring game is against other competition, because, like I was saying earlier,
you need to move in that direction. I think that if you're going to have a spring game, then you should probably have it against somebody else.
Yeah, well, like last year.
But here's the thing: if we're going to start cutting out a lot of these, go ahead. Sorry.
Our defensive line last year in spring and fall looked phenomenal. So, and Ollie Gordon just rushed for almost 1,800 yards. So, after you watch some of the spring, I was under the disillusionment that our defensive line is about to dominate. Well, it turns out our O-line was just absolutely horrendous. So, if we would have had other competition, we'd have known that way earlier. But we didn't find out that, oh, crap, our D-line's actually not very good, because our O-line is so bad that the D-line looked good in practice. It looked good in spring, but wasn't, right? And I think that is the reason you have to see your team go up against other competition, because you don't really know what you have.
Yo, I get it. I get what you're saying. Hey, folks, we're having Bedlam right here on the show, and we've got 24 likes with 50 people on this very stream right now, and only half of you have even hit that like button. What's the matter with y'all?
It's got to be my face.
It's got to be, bro. Oh, Patchy.
That's it. I have what's it? Jada Pinkett Smith face. That's what I have.
I was gonna say that earlier. That's good shit. Hey, how's Logan?
He's good, actually. He might. So we have to leave in 15 minutes for baseball practice, and
right on.
He's not fully released yet, but they were talking about him pitching live to the team today, and I think it's a good idea as long as
he's better.
Yeah, he needs to stay under 60 pitches. I don't really want him trying to exceed 85, but if he keeps it simple and lets the off speed work.
About that shit, I got heated, man. I was like, "Who's this fucking guy?"
Oh yeah, dude. So I'll tell you, I told Tatum too, and Tatum lost his ever loving mind. I showed Logan. I was like, "This is great," but yeah, he'll be fully released.
Hey, if you try this if you do this new exercise, the Yankees will call you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it is. But hey, you know what? We talked about while he's not on the mound, it's a good time for him to get his bat in order. I think he's hitting 381 right now, so it's coming together. It's not bad. Oh, he's the only player in the league, and this is why I told him, because he's been a center fielder his whole life. I told him this year, you need to go to right field. When you're not on the mound, you need to be at right field, right? And here's the reason being. Nobody guns people down at first. So runners, whenever they hit a hole shot, they jog to first base. They think it's an automatic bag. He's already thrown 2 people out at first from the outfield this year. That's why he's out there. So yeah, he's been able to do some things outside of the mound that have kind of made him better. But you're right, his bread and butter is on the mound. He's top 15 in the state for a reason, and now he needs to start proving it starting next week.
All love to Logan, man. I hope he's feeling better, and I'm glad he's hitting it up. Man, that's good stuff. We ain't gonna get in. What's up?
I'll let you know how today goes.
Hey, man. Yeah, you got to go. You taking him to practice? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Well, I got to do lessons with a few of the boys.
Okay. Cool.
We've got a kid that he's trying to go submarine, so we're gonna toy with it.
Cool. Well, man, I appreciate you coming in, big boy.
Absolutely, brother, man. I greatly appreciate it.
I'm glad right here on the damn stream.
I'm glad that I could piss off your fan base.
Yeah, well, I pissed you off, so it was fun.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, you're muted there, big dog.
Oh yeah, my bad. Hey, real quick before he leaves, what do you guys think about the running back that's been announcing today? Y'all getting him?
Yeah, we didn't talk about that yet. You think you're getting him? Are you getting him? You don't want to say it. You're afraid of jinxing it, huh?
No, well, so here's what I can say. I have spoken with Caden Jones. I've spoken with his dad. I've spoken with his running back coach. The only reason we would not get him is because KU and Louisville have basically immediate playing time available. We do not, right? So immediate playing time as a freshman has been very high up on his board. So it's going to come down to if he's okay with competing for the job, he's a Cowboy. If he wants that sure ticket to be competing as a freshman, he likely ends up at a KU.
So there's no OU in
if
there.
I were to guess, I think he's a Cowboy.
Okay. We'll see.
I'm excited.
He's a legacy guy, man. I'm not going to be happy about this.
Well, and I'm glad that question was asked, right? Because we've gone through the same thing with Tatum Bell. Our former staff, because Tatum comes to all the games and he was bringing his son to all the games, like he had essentially like 15 unofficial visits, right? Well, because of that, our coaching staff just assumed he was going to be a Cowboy. So we barely recruited him, right? Matter of fact, we would go into the same area of DFW and offer other wide receivers at other high schools before we offered him. And from what I gathered, OU it wasn't necessarily the same, but they didn't treat him like a very high asset. They treated him like somebody that they were just going to get.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Right, exactly. And he wasn't looking for red carpet treatment, right? But he was looking for a little bit more than, hey, come to this camp. And that's essentially what he got out of OU recruiting. And I think it was nothing egregious. It was just OU feeling like he was going to be a Sooner, just like Oklahoma State fans just felt like Tatum Bell Jr. Deuce was going to be a Cowboy.
And he's not now?
Well, here's the caveat. The old staff was horrendous at recruiting. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
This new staff is phenomenal. I mean, look at Caden Jones. This is a perfect example. 2 months ago, we weren't even in his top 15. Now we're in his top 3. And I think we have a legitimate shot at landing him. That is all because of the staff. And I hate to say this, but it is what it is. It's because of all of the SEC connections. Todd Grantham, Cap Dede, Ryan Osborne, Jules Montanar, they have spent years, decade plus in the SEC. So that's how they're recruiting now. And Oklahoma State has never, ever, ever recruited this way because Mike Gundy's always been more about the check marks than about the players, right? So, and it's true, right? You had to have a 2-family home. You had to, you know what I mean? You had to have straight A's. You had to never miss class. You had to never skip school. You had to never get in trouble. Those were all the things that equal you being an Oklahoma State recruit. The new staff, they're not out there going to get knuckleheads per se.
Yeah. But they're going after better players.
A direct word from some of the coaches is we're going to get dogs now. We used to get guys that we knew were good character that we hoped we could turn into dogs. Now we're just going to getting dogs and hoping that everything else works out. So it's completely different. They have more connections with the SEC staff than we've ever had before, and we're actually recruiting that away. Not to mention, lastly, before I leave, another thing that we're doing is we're following kind of an NFL model, which is what we're doing right now is the OTAs section, right? And that's how we're treating it. I think another massive ordeal that you're going to see is we have position coaches like the SEC does that we've never had before. Instead of just having a cornerbacks coach, we have a DB's coach, we have a CB's coach, we have a nickelback coach, we have free safety coach, strong safety coach, offensive line. We have 3 coaches. We have 3 coaching linebackers. So we're not getting people to teach them general things. We're fine-tuning minor techniques that we've never, ever, ever done before. Now, is it going to work out? I don't know. But we're treating this like an SEC NFL model, and we'll see if it works out.
Oklahoma ganja grower, my guy here, says he knows Keywan personally, and it's super hard for him to believe that he'd be cool with his son going to OSU when there is an OU offer on the table.
Yeah, like I said, man, he does bleed OU,
and it could be NIL related. Also, you got to remember that it's not just about allegiances as much anymore. There's money involved. That was never.
I'm telling you, right? If OU would have rolled out the red carpet and treated him like a blue chip All-American, he'd probably be a Sooner.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
Well, we'll see what happens with it. I'm not going to love it if he goes there, but
I don't think he's coming to OU. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't think he's coming to OU either. I think it's been made pretty clear.
I think it's probably Kansas or Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And I think it's just, honestly, I feel like his gut is telling him to come to Stillwater, just being realistic. But what he set as his main criteria, if he sticks by that, he'll end up at KU.
By playing early? Yeah.
Now, I mean, he very well could come into Oklahoma State and beat out everybody.
If he's like his pops, man, Keywan was a bad dude. Keywan was a bad dude.
He's phenomenal. And I'll tell you, the biggest shout out needs to go to Jeremy Smith. Because Jeremy Smith was his running back coach at Broken Arrow. Jeremy Smith's been a private running back coach for him for years. I actually did a piece on Caden Jones after a 7-on-7 tournament. And I talked to Jeremy about it right before I kind of put everything together. And he did help clarify a lot of things for me that got me even more excited about the prospect of Caden Jones. And again, it's just this new staff has been able to come in and make waves with Caden and his dad and his family. And it's just it's an exciting time. As Caden has said himself, what's going on in Stillwater right now just makes you want to be a part of it. It doesn't mean it's good, doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's going to work, But whatever they're doing, it does have people excited and intrigued to at least see what's happening in Stillwater now, which hasn't been the case in the past.
All right, brother. Well, I'm going to have to see it first, but I appreciate you coming in and telling us all about it.
Absolutely, brother, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, man.
I'm going to skedaddle on off of here. And
Logan, I said, what's up, man? And proud of you, man.
I'm going to go teach some submarine action.
Tear it up. Have a good one.
All right, brother. Hey, you know what? As much as I wanted to throat punch you through the screen today, I still love your flipping face. And I saw some of the comments of people that hate me. Guess what?
They don't even hate you, bro.
It's okay. I love them. I'm a lover today because it's Caden Batman Jones Day. Ha ha! God bless, go Pokes. I hope to see you at the spring game.
Later.
Hey, I was just about to ask because I was reading through the comments right here.
Yeah,
I was scrolling through them. I'm like, damn, what's going on? What did I miss?
They bust Cody's chops like nobody else, but he comes in wanting.
What I'm saying is they was talking about Cody got you on the ropes. Shawty just said Cody got you on the ropes right now.
Whoa! Who said that?
Go back to 24 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago.
I was never on the ropes. Thank you. I had him screaming.
What was y'all talking about?
Oh, about the fucking idea of having a spring bedlam instead of having a real fucking game.
I gotta give you my take.
Go for it.
So at first, when I first heard it, I was like, that's not a bad idea. Right? That was my first
that are negative and voicing their opinion are the same ones that can't pay their own bills.
Yep. That was my first take. And my second thought was like, why is Oklahoma State worried about NIL? Don't they got all that big oil money? You know what I mean? They don't need
that. They got 250 like dropped on them last year, I think.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. They got money long out there, right? Money is long. They do. Right?
Yep. And then got the money.
And then I was like, you know what? You can't scrimmage. Oklahoma State and Oklahoma can't just scrimmage.
Like no, and he was talking about thudding up. He doesn't even know what he wants. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, ain't no thudding, bro. What's gonna happen is one of your a quarterback is gonna get teed off on. And there's gonna be fucking fights because it ain't a real game. Right?
I had him so pissed off that I wasn't even getting a whole lot of words in. I was like, relax. And I was trying to bust his chops. I didn't give a fuck that he was young. Just because I don't care. I think it's a stupid idea.
It's not gonna be much, man. It's not gonna be much because there's gonna be scrap after scrap.
Think about it. Yeah. It'd be like some of those NFL practices. Like I go back and you think about D Hop and what's his name, where they were squabbing out and beating the shit out of each other, and it would be like that after every play. Every play.
It's just. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, it can't be. It has to be a game. It has to be Bedlam. It can't. If that's the case, if that's what you want, Gundy, go get a joint practice with Tulsa. Go get a joint practice with Tulsa, bro, because it can't happen. You know, it's got to be somebody else. If you're gonna do it, it's got to be somebody else. And even then, like I seen somebody talk about Nebraska. I don't even know if you can do it at Nebraska. You know what I mean? You probably can, right? I think you can with Nebraska.
That's the thing. Chrissy, he beat me on debate takes. Your arguments all sound like conspiracy. No. It's not a conspiracy that Lincoln was throwing fucking football games all year. He was. That's a fact. It's not a conspiracy. It's a fucking fact. Number one. Number two, all you got to do is go back and watch the end of the Oklahoma State game, the last one, and look at where he was tackled in the end zone. There's a ref right there and doesn't make the call. The ball's not close to him yet. He gets tackled in. That's not a conspiracy. That shit happened. So in the end, I don't give a shit, dude. 91, 20, and 7 against him. And bottom line, when it comes to Mike Gundy, all of that shit, it's so disingenuous that he's acting like that when he flat out doesn't want to play the game because he's freaking 5-14 all time. Or 4-15. I'm sorry, 4-15 all time against Oklahoma as a head coach. He never beat him as a player. He never beat him as an assistant when he was with Les either. It's bullshit. He didn't want to play the game because of that. It's not because they're scheduled up for the next 15 years. It ain't that shit. And Cody admitted that he's butthurt because he didn't get drug along to the SEC. He admitted it. And I'm not even trying. I love the dude. He's one of my buddies. I don't give a fuck what you think, Chrissy. You're full of shit anyway.
Bro, let me tell you something. Big shout out to everybody that's in the comments. The comment section was on fire. And
yeah, dude, they get like that every time Cody comes in.
Dude, I've had the most fun reading comments that I can think of right now. You know what I mean? Like, I usually kind of just scroll through them and browse them. But while y'all were talking, bro, I read pretty much every one.
But let me ask you a question too. What good does it do Oklahoma if you don't look good on a series? Even you're terrible, right? Are you not? Oklahoma State, if they get beat up on, that's what's supposed to happen.
Dude, so they have to make this like a YMCA basketball game with like 4th and 5th graders where they don't keep score. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's not, what good is that? But I'm saying with Oklahoma, everything's a fine-tooth comb, right? It's a fine-tooth comb. Every little mistake is going to be magnified. If you are competitive in your Okie Light, it's great for you. There's not really, what do you gain if you're OU? And you probably are going to get your quarterbacks killed.
Yeah.
No, they're going to get one of those red-shirted motherfuckers. You know they are.
A receiver's going to get fucking blasted.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, dude, it's going to be on, that shit going to be on fucking
This is why
ESPN.
you need to, listen, you need to have a game. The game needs to happen, not a fucking scrimmage, a game.
Yeah.
Because it'll be too much to handle. They're not going to be able to control those guys. You know they won't.
Yeah. At first I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then I thought about it and I was like, nah, fuck no, that can't.
I'm more of the opinion that you should be playing a lot of these SCS guys. It doesn't get too crazy that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of helps you you can recruit some of those guys and see who you find out who's the guy that, got slipped through the cracks. It happens. I like the idea of playing somebody else. I don't think that you need to play another Power 5 school. And especially not a rival. When you're not playing the actual rivalry game and you hate each other, nah. Yeah. I think it's a bad idea. And I think it's completely disingenuous of Gundy to bring this shit up. I do. When he whined and bitched for 3 fucking years about it's not going on because Oklahoma. It's all their fault. And we got 15 years of games all scheduled out. Shut up. That's bullshit.
Bro, we've seen that shit can be canceled.
I just said that to him. I said, dude, Rule just dumped a shit ton of games. And so Lincoln's trying to get rid of Notre Dame, for God's sakes.
No, Nebraska and Tennessee did it. Was it Nebraska and Tennessee?
Nebraska and Tennessee. And he doesn't want to play Oklahoma either. He's like, no, fuck that. Why would I play that game? That's what's wrong with college football right now. And that's what I was saying. Look, I'm telling you that I think this is, in the end, the problems that we have with college football is we're losing rivalries, not gaining them. And don't tell me that it's the same to have a fucking scrimmage against them, because it isn't.
Yeah, no. Scrimmage ain't what, that ain't what's up. So, like, let me ask you this, right? I don't know. I don't think I'm an FCS. Like, we should be going scrimmaging an FCS.
I don't know if it's an FCS or not. I'm telling you that I don't think that you
that shit wouldn't even be a scrimmage
either, though. What are you really trying to get out of the spring? You're trying to find out what your young guys are about. Well, you should know what your veterans are.
So let me ask you this: if you were the GM of Oklahoma right now, right? And you had to schedule a spring scrimmage, a joint practice with a group of 4 team.
A group of 5? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
group of 5 still? Yeah,
Group of
5.
6, actually, group of 6,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I can't keep track, dude. I still can't even get Power 4 right. Like, you know what I mean? Who would like if you had to schedule one of those groups of 5, 6, whatever the fuck it is, what team would you choose? Like, who would it be?
No, ask again, a group of 6 or who?
Yeah, if you had to choose a team from the group of 6 as the newly appointed GM of Oklahoma football, right? Who would you pick? Like, what do you think would be the ideal school?
Somebody close, I guess. I don't know. I honestly think probably like
Chat, come on. What do we
Tulsa.
got? I want to hear what you're
I
saying.
mean,
Tulsa?
Tulsa.
Yeah.
I do think it's Tulsa. There's no real hatred there or anything like that. I mean, you know, you can give them some good looks. There's a lot of fans in Tulsa. They'll be happy whether it's there or here. It doesn't matter. They'll be there.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be other teams too. I mean, I don't really care. Could be it could be Mountain West teams or whatever.
Yeah.
They're all around.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of who I would.
UNM's what? 200 miles, 250 miles?
Yeah, that's that. So I was looking at the New Mexico schools for sure. I was looking at Tulsa.
Colorado State.
Yep, that was my next one. Colorado State. And I was trying to like, you know, kind of move regionally right around. Like, I don't know.
Tech or Baylor, they're saying, and now that's not group of 6, but I get what I get where you guys are talking about. Hey, look.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I'm not mad at a Big 12 school either. You know
I'm not
what I mean?
necessarily, but what I'm getting at is that's fine. That's fine. And look, man, I'm not a guy that wants to get rid of spring games either. I don't care. I mean, I don't want to see them get rid of them. I want them to play.
Hell no. But I don't listen, man. I'm going to get back on this.
I'm good with the idea of playing other teams too, and just making it into an actual game. But I don't want to see a thud up scrimmage where you're getting guys hurt either, because that's what's going to happen.
But I mean, like here, so I'm going to get back on this.
Just play an actual game, and the winner wins.
And what you just said right there kind of struck me different, because you're
trying to go less, right? If you're trying to go light on people, you can get them hurt that way, right?
Right. And that's your, I get your stance. I know you're there. And you know, I'm on the opposite end. Like, I hate the fact that we are making football less football, right? Because you don't get better at football by not playing football. Right. You know what I mean? And that's why I would rather see, and dude, I'm full go on spring game.
Play a game. Let's have it be a real game.
Go on spring. Like, your quarterbacks need to look too. And I'm a big proponent of that, dude. Like, I'm not like, don't touch the quarterback. I get it during practice and shit, but like, your quarterbacks need to look too. You know what I mean? Like, they gotta have a series or two.
So you don't have to take their head off in order for them to get that look.
But be smart about it. You know what I mean? Like, be smart about it. That's your own quarterback.
But I also think that by doing the thud up or whatever, and especially if that's what you're expecting, and so you're not really protecting yourself, like you could get yourself hurt because he's knocked the fuck out of you.
Fuck a thud up in the spring game. No, fuck that.
I don't think so either. I don't think that's what you need to, and that's what he was talking about doing too. He didn't want to go live, which you know damn well it's going to turn live real fast.
Y'all heard me say it. Like, everybody's live, except when it comes to the quarterback. In a situation like that, like, you're not just gonna come thud a dude up. Trust me, my son got in trouble multiple times last year for just thudding up. What happened when he thudded up? It didn't work out too well on the other end. Like,
he's got a way of leveraging that shit, man. He just
but like, it's not natural. It's not natural going full speed up to the point of contact. You know what I mean? It's not natural. Like,
and if you don't go full speed up until the point of contact, you'll never get there. You're going to get burned. That's right.
It's a bad look. So, like, that's why I don't like what's happening in football. Like, it's got to be one or the other. Like, you got to get a look, and you got to get this game speed, because practice speed ain't game speed.
That's true.
Game speed in the SEC ain't practice
well,
speed.
And even when you start looking at scout teams, and even in the NFL, that
it's not.
If the talent's not the same, that's not the real look. Yeah,
nope.
I get it.
Nope. I don't know. I don't understand I just don't like where football's headed right now and what's going on in the college game. I just don't understand what
I think with Oklahoma fans right now, though, we are coming off of a PTSD year where they were all hurt, man. And so the concern is there's concern there. But I also think
just Oklahoma.
But no, I know. The other thing about it is I think it probably toughened most of the guys that are left are tougher for it. And we're now not Lincoln soft, which I'm happy about.
Yeah. How's my name?
I think that there's a balance you got to strike, man. I feel that way. I think there's a balance you have to strike. But I think that when you get into a scrimmage, a game situation, it needs to be a game situation. I don't think that you can half-ass it. And I think you can get yourself hurt half-assing it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You 100% get yourself in the head in the wrong position, or just I've never understood it, man. I never understood it. And like you've heard me say it on here before, I hated when we were just in helmets. I fucking hated it, because on the D line, O line, it's the same speed whether you got helmets on or no shoulder pads or full pads.
It's a car crash either way, brother.
It's fucking retarded. I fucking hated it, dude.
Yeah,
I hated it. But yeah, I just don't understand what the end game is here. Like,
what do you think's going on with these guys? What do you think? Where's Nagy at on this stuff? What do you think he wants to have happen?
I have no idea, dude. I have no idea. But like, dude, so like let's think about like the spring game, right?
Yeah.
In the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Are they not tackling the quarterback? Are they not sacking the quarterback?
Yeah.
But bro, and that's my point. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I probably would have never got here without you bringing that up. But the Senior Bowl is what? 2 months removed from 2 months before the combine? Mm-hmm. Half them dudes that were playing in the Senior Bowl was at the combine, probably more than half. So you're trying to tell me there's less to lose by playing in the Senior Bowl and possibly getting hurt than there is for a spring ball?
Well, if you're getting hurt while you're going up against the best talent that they think that is in the country,
that's not the issue as I see it. The issue is we are trying to protect players and prevent injuries by dumbing shit down.
Are they though? Yeah, well, yeah.
But you go to the spring bowl and that's real football.
I think that you said something, and I think you said it, and I've heard it from other places too. But I think what you need to do is you've got shorter periods. You got to go 100%, but you don't have to do it for 3 hours. You got to do it for 45 minutes and be done, and get them rested up the way they need to be rested up. You don't have to have 100 reps.
Yeah, but
I think that if I have a concern about Oklahoma, I think that happens. That the practices go long.
It doesn't make sense to me. But so what do I think Nagy would prefer? Bro, I think he'd probably rather have like a full-fledged scrimmage, just by what he does at the Senior Bowl.
He might.
Or what he did at the Senior Bowl.
He might.
And I can't wait to meet him. I can't wait to meet him.
Good question. Listen, I'm efforting trying to get him on the show. I'd love to talk to him about this.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm confused.
Yeah. The game is changing every day, and it's changing so rapidly and in so many ways that it's hard to know what's. Yeah. It really is. It's hard to know.
Yeah, this shit's crazy, man. Shit is wild. It
says the kids ain't tough no more because they're not drinking out the water hose like back in the day.
Hey,
you may not be wrong.
I showed my son that the other day, my youngest one, Cameron.
Yeah.
He looked at me like I had he looked at me like I had a dick growing out of my head. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, bro, this is how we used to drink back in the day.
It's the only way we had it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even come
taking
out.
your mama's cups outside. Are you insane?
Oh, it was crazy. That's not filtered, Dad. I'm like, the fucking ain't.
It's got fluoride and everything in that shit, buddy.
Fluoride, bro. More
fluoride and all. Fluoride and all. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. That water hose shit. Yeah, they don't know nothing about that cold water, garden hose water in the middle of the summer. You know what I'm saying? Coming off the, maybe playing some kickball or some dodgeball type shit. You know what I mean? And getting that garden hose straight to the face.
Dude, no shit, dude. Hey, man, when we grew up, I'm telling you what, if you didn't get, like during the summertime, if you didn't get in a fight with somebody in the neighborhood every day, you weren't playing. You weren't out there getting it. You weren't out there getting it, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you another. So it's talking about fights. So,
playing ball and beating the shit out of each other. That's what happened.
Yeah. So we got off the cruise Friday, right? And got back to the hotel, and the kids was like, well, what are we gonna do? And so, Cam's like, I want to go to the trampoline park or, whatever that is, right? So there's an Urban Air right around the corner from us. And
back at home?
Down in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And they was in there playing dodgeball. They got them little dodgeball areas where they be bouncing and playing dodgeball. Well, Cam bust some dude right up inside his head, right? Cam got hit in the head. And then, Cam got a little mad. And he's like, I'm getting him back, right? And Cam popped him with a ball. And then he just kept, he's like, I'm hitting everybody in the head. This is according to my wife. Because she was over there. I was sitting over there with all our stuff.
He chose violence, did he? Chose violence?
Well, my wife stopped it, but yeah, I was like, why'd you stop it? I was like, you should let that shit play out. I want to, you know what I mean? And probably recorded it because I wanted to see how Cam handled himself.
World star.
Don't break that shit up, bro. Yeah. Let that shit happen. It's in a trampoline park. They got employees there for that. You know what I mean? Let them break that up. I want to see how Cam handled himself. You know what I mean?
Cam's the middle kid?
He's the youngest.
Oh, he's the youngest one. Oh, okay. Yeah, you definitely got to see what he's about.
Yeah, I want to see what the little 10-year-old's made of, bro. Like I want to see I want to see what he's about. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, that was a missed opportunity by my wife. But I don't fault her for it. But
yeah, listen, man, not everybody can be as cavemanish as you are.
Yeah,
so,
man,
you don't want your wife to be like that. So
yeah, I mean, what are they gonna? Yeah, my wife, she's not a fighter. Bro.
She's got to even you out, bro. We already know this.
She's never been in a physical altercation in her life.
She's the yin to your yang, bro. You got to have. That's why y'all work. That's why y'all work.
Yeah,
you're the killer. You're the killer.
She's a brainiac, man. She's the smart one.
Figure it out. That's right. Christy, I like this. I like this comment much better. House water builds your immune system. Kids nowadays, too many allergies to everything. I agree.
Yeah, man. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get you banned, but
Kimberly K says he's the baby Boganowski.
That's what I'm saying. we didn't. He's you know what I mean?
He's got to figure out what kind of streak he got.
Hey, you're out there in the driveway hooping, or out in the street, I should say, out there hooping, and his big brother be giving him that work on a one-on-one, but he keeps going at him.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what's up. But yeah, man, the baby, man, shit.
Yeah, but the baby's usually sometimes
he's the toughest one,
craziest one. Hell yeah, they ain't scared of shit.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm like, you know what I mean? I just want to see.
My youngest grandson is a gangster.
I just want to see what he's about.
He's 3 years old and he's already picking on the 10-year-old. It's crazy.
Yeah, I just want to, all these video games, talking stuff behind video games is one thing, but you know what I mean? When the beef is in your face, let's see what it do. I want to see it. Yeah. gotta let them fight, bro. Like,
you gotta let them get after it. They're not gonna hurt each other too bad.
Yeah, dude, they ain't got that kind of.
Yeah,
you know, they don't even know how to punch.
Yeah, it's when they get to be in Mike's age that you don't want them fighting no more. Don't knock that shit off.
No, maybe not even high school. Maybe not even high school.
Hey, man, I see some of those fights that are happening. I mean, you always see on Twitter and shit. They got some crazy shit, and people getting knocked the fuck out and landing awkwardly.
Yeah, well, that's what I always told Mike. You know what I mean? Like when he was coming up
like that. I mean, we seen it happen.
Yeah, like well, that's why I said, dude.
I saw happened to a guy in Vegas right in front of us.
So I told I just told how I wanted my wife to pull out the phone, which is totally contrary to everything I've ever told my kids, right? It's just terrible. But, you know, it's a 10-year-old. But like when I was Michael, like when these fights are happening, bro, I was like, I expect you to not be the one pulling out your phones. Like, I want you to be the ones to stop it. You know what I mean?
Stop in the fight. Yeah, don't be that. Don't be. Yeah.
Be like everybody else, man. Be different. Yeah.
I can't imagine pulling out my phone to do that for a fight even today. Even though everybody does that.
Yeah, that's the first reaction, dude.
It is wild, isn't it? And like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We were always we were down for our boys. We were not gonna let somebody get their ass whipped. There was no way. It's just not gonna happen.
That's what I'm talking about. Put the gloves on them. You know what I mean? Yeah, I probably did expect a little too much from her. You're right, Kimberly K.
It's a bit much, Kimberly K. That's what I was trying to explain.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
It is.
But now, hey, now she knows. Now she knows the expectation, right? Now she knows. Right now she knows. That's funny.
Yeah, but you can't expect her to not be like, hey, nuh-uh. She wasn't gonna.
For sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it's one of those things.
At least let it go on for like 5 to 10 seconds, then break it.
She's got to find out about it after. If she's in the area, she's gonna shut it down. You already know.
Yeah. Just let it go on for like 5 to 10.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, put the boxing gloves on, man.
I actually know a couple of moms that were that way back in the day.
Yeah, no, there's some now.
Oh, whoop that ass.
There are some now.
There are some. You better fight back. Yeah.
For sure.
Now both my granddads were like that. My dad, hey man, you better fight back. If you get your ass whipped, it's fine, but you better not just let them whip your ass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I peeped a couple of those Neilio, the bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, that shit that goes pretty hard, man.
Mike G, you fucked with that Playboy Elo. Derek, he's talking. What are y'all talking about, man?
What are we talking?
Who we talking about? Who'd you mess up? Hey, man. No, well, but you weren't a big fighter or nothing like that when you were even in college, were you?
No. I mean, when I would, like I said earlier, like
the military you get in fights in the military just because of other military branches. It happens. It's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I used to, we used to mix it up a little bit in football during football. Like I told you, like sometimes you get bored. Not even, dude, with your own teammates, bro. You get bored, right? And you just like tired of this dude grabbing and holding you. And sometimes you got
your ass. Oh man, I used to hate the fuck.
You got to throw that to the solar plex. You got to throw that little left hook to the solar plex. Like I was never. I'm not finna punch you in the face mask. I never understood.
I've never understood why people do that shit, or the dudes that take their helmet off.
Like Gundy, I bet Darren Gundy, yeah. I was never that type of dude. I did get in one fight one time, and it scared the shit out of me, dude, because I clocked a dude, and my first reaction was like, "Damn, I might have killed this guy," and that scared the shit out of me. So I never.
There was a dude in the military that he was about your size, man, and he was not a dude that he didn't. I mean, he was crazy at the time that you needed him to be.
Yeah,
but he hit this guy one night in Cherry Hill, in PA, and New Jersey, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and I thought that dude was dead before he hit the ground.
Yeah, that's nah.
I thought that fucker was dead before he hit the ground, and. Oof, that was scary. It scared the shit out of him though. He was like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
But
But like in the Army
for a while before he did it.
But in the Army, like, so I had a crazy ass first sergeant when I first got to Fort Campbell. And he was big as hell. He was big like me. Shout out to First Sergeant Gilmer. But he was like this is how I always compared him. He was like a pit bull, right? Like you didn't really want to look him in the eyes, right? Because he was not cross-eyed, but he would look at you crazy.
Oh yeah, dude. They're meaner than fuck.
This dude was about 6'4", 240, 250, big motherfucker, Ranger tab, right? So, and I ain't never seen anybody big like that run like he did, dude. So we on Fridays was company runs, right? So this dude, we would go on a run, and so you got the other brigades around there, right? So we were in 4th Brigade, and you run down the street, you got your guide on, and you run through other, brigades or whatever, just to kind of, talk shit or whatever, right? But so I don't know if y'all have ever seen
This dude was the first sergeant? He was the first sergeant?
Yeah, he was my first sergeant.
That's fucking
This is company runs now. Like usually when you do shit like that, that's battalion level shit, right? When you run through somebody else's AO, right? Because you knew what was happening, right? You ran through somebody's AO, yeah. So have y'all ever seen Black Hawk Down, right? There was a dude in there, Colonel Steele, right? Remember? He's like, "Hey, Ranger, that's an unsafe weapon." And the guy was like, "This is my safety, sir," right? Yeah. Eric Banner, when he's playing the SF guy. Well, the guy that was on him about it was the commander in 3rd Brigade Rakkasans, right?
Oh yeah.
So he was the commander.
I met Colonel Steele before.
He's crazy. He's crazy as hell.
Crazy as fuck. Yes,
right?
He was.
So when we would run through their area, like it was on. Like people were coming at you, and it wasn't like fist fights, right? Everybody knew like that wasn't happening, but it just turned into like one big grappling jiu-jitsu match, right? So every Friday as that started, we knew what was happening. You would see everybody come to formation on Friday. They would either have their mouthpiece behind their ear or in their sock, right? Because you knew once you went down there past air assault school and you took that left, we were going to run up that little hill and come back through 187, and it was going to go down. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I got choked out so bad, dude. I had like 5 people on me one time. I couldn't tap, right? Because I had dudes on my arms and legs, and some little fucking come up behind me and got up under my neck. And dude, I was like blinking out. I almost went out because I couldn't even tap, dude. The dude I think he just let me go. You know what I mean? But like, I had like a whole gang of motherfuckers on me because that was always like the first thing.
The meanest dude I've ever met in my lifetime, and this is the meanest. I mean, he was big. This dude was from Camden, New Jersey, right outside of Philly. It's probably like the murder capital of the fucking world. And this guy, crazy hockey playing motherfucker, loved hockey. He had that big jutted out jaw. It looked like China. You know how China had that big ass jaw back in the day? Yeah. Before she got the plastic surgery, even then it was still big.
Yeah.
This dude, and he was fucking mean, dude. He had that mean streak. Not only was he big, but he was mean as shit. We're at this all women's college. They would have these mixers. And all dudes show up, obviously, and they're having these dances and shit like that, and you could drink or whatever. Well, this fight's fixing to get started with one of my buddies. And there's like 5 other dudes up there, and I'm coming up to help my buddy, and all that sudden, and then here comes Ray, this big son of a bitch, and I was like, well, let's get it, fuck it, 3-on-5 will work, because I was like, this dude's nasty, watch, and my boy Scott was like, whoa, hold on. Ray fucking slapped all 5 of those cats, had them running. That's how rowdy he was. He was meaner than shit, dude, meaner than shit.
So we used to, on Thursdays too, is when we do combatives.
And this would happen too if you hated one of the dudes in your unit, Yeah, you just got to go back behind the fuel tanks or something. You got to go back there and get it done.
For sure. We used to go off in the wood line right across the street.
Yeah.
We had the
Just
wood
don't,
line.
Yeah. I mean, you
Well,
try to gut punch a little more than anything else, but you're gonna get a few.
You didn't want to.
You don't want to have too many marks on them.
No, because then people start asking questions. But yeah, we used to do combatives on Thursdays too with First Sergeant Gilmer. And before you do all that, he'd smoke the shit out of us, right?
Yeah.
For like 20 minutes, get us nice and tired. So not everybody's like full bore and like when you're, starting from your knees and trying to achieve the clinch type shit. And I used to try to like just go pair up with somebody and he would come and find me. Like, get your ass over here, Boganowski. And I'm like, fuck. I'm 24 at this time, maybe 20.
I was glad I wasn't the biggest dude because they always do that shit to those cats.
Because he was like, you're the only one that gives me any competition, right? Because everybody just kind of, that's first sergeant, I'm going to lay down.
The dudes are like that, man. They love that shit.
He was probably whooping their ass too because he was big as hell, right? He's big as hell, dude. Yeah. And I don't remember what happened, but I had him, this is going to sound like no Diddy, but I had him mounted, right? It's a dominant position in grappling, right? You got somebody in the mounted position, full mount, side mount, whatever. But I had him and I was getting ready to slap a arm bar on his ass, right? And the whistle blew and we stopped. So you had a little break and then you started again. That motherfucker, the next time we come up, he headbutted me right in my shit, right? Like, you know how you grab and you try to like, grab on collars and control? Well, he pulled me in and was like, pow, busted me in my shit. My eyes were watering. The next thing I know, he got me in a rear naked choke and he choked the shit out of me. But yeah, that son of a bitch, I remember that like, that son of a bitch, I thought he gave me a concussion, man. I thought he broke my nose, all that stuff, man. But yeah, it used to go down.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man.
Shout out first.
And we're young and stupider than shit.
Probably one of the best first sergeants I ever had. Like he kept it real, man. He ran the shit out of us. He was tough, he was but shit, we all love that dude, man.
Yep. Yeah, at a women's college, New Jersey College for Women. It's not called that anymore, I don't think. But it was about 5 minutes away from Rutgers. There was always fucking fights over there. Always. Bunch of horn dog ass. And it's so close to where the bases are. There's 3 other bases right in that area too. It was going to be some fights, man. Bunch of hard dick dudes. Every time. You know what I mean?
Bro, what do you think? So I gotta bring this up. I don't know if y'all talk about this, but is that you or is that Dent?
That's Dent. I didn't say that.
Dent, you grappling, bro?
You grappling. What up? Yeah, you supposed to be in here. I don't know what's up with that.
Looking grappling. I didn't know any of that, man. You hiding shit from me, man. Yeah.
Memories of places that don't exist here. It's still there. It's just now it's called Douglas Residential College or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Kimberly K. It's a weird dynamic, man. It's a weird dynamic.
That guy, he would lay down for your ass, guaranteed. You weren't gonna. That's like that Big Ray dude. He would kind of. I mean, if it's just you guys are hanging around, he's gonna pick on you because that's how he is. He has to do it. Yeah. I think moments of chill is not good for him. He didn't like it. But he was gonna protect you. He was open hand smacking the fuck out of those dudes, and they all took off running across the courtyard. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen. Yeah. They ran like bitches, for real.
So here's what I can try to explain it to you, Kimberly K. So like, here's the deal. Like when you join the Army, like you know what you're getting into, right?
True.
And we all knew that because like this, now let's think about it, the time frame too. Like we all knew we were going to Iraq, right? Yep. Like
you have to get ready for that too. You have to prepare yourself.
We knew we were going to Iraq. Like it was not like, oh, you may go. No. It was happening, right? So like we know that dude was trying to do his best to get us ready, physically, mentally, like discipline, training wise and all that stuff. He was tough as
sharpen
hell.
that edge, man. You got to sharpen that fucking edge.
There was a reason for it, right? There was a reason for it. And, you know, I'll tell one other little story. Like when I was a drill sergeant on a trail, like the privates would always say, like, you know, they would, so my battalion commander would have sensing sessions with the privates, right? And my battalion commander used to get on me all the time for cussing and calling them names and you know, being too mean, because they started getting softer. Like, you got to call them warrior.
Oh
you
yeah,
privates, right?
Yeah, you couldn't.
Dude,
the tough dudes would do it under their breath, but they'd let you know that you were a pussy or whatever.
No, dude.
I had a TI that used to call everybody Punky Brewster. It was
listen, man. I didn't care who was around either. I didn't care if the battalion commander was around, the sergeant major around. I didn't give a damn, right? Because I knew what these kids are thinking, right? So the commander would have these sensing sessions toward the end of the cycle, and he would say, your name always comes up as the one that they respect the most. You know what I mean? And he would ask them why, and they would always say,
you were tough on him, but you were also probably fair too.
He's the toughest on us, and he makes it hard, right? Like, the problem I had with what they're doing and what they're doing in the Army right now is they're making everything easy. You know what I mean? They're making everything easier, and it's not helping anybody in the long run, right? And the battalion commander, so we used to play sports all the time, right? The Commander's Cup, and he would play. So I had a little bit of different leadway, right? Because I was big athlete, you know, I was playing all the sports, whatever, and I was doing well.
Most officers are in charge of shit. They've kind of gotten over that, giving a fuck about what you say to them.
Yeah. No, they don't.
Some of them do. Some of them do.
100%. But he used to tell me, he was like, you know, Boganowski, he's like, I'm always on you about cussing and calling them names. And he's like, but, you know, when I have these sensing sessions, he's like, you're the one that they always talk about, like, being the one that they respect and like the most. And, you know, the other guys, like, you know, that are not soft on him and afraid to smoke the shit out of him, he's like, they don't respect him. And that's why I told him, I'm like, sure, what do you think the reason that is for? Because they come to basic training and they expect it to be one way because they've seen Platoon, they've seen the movies, and then they get here and the expectation doesn't live up to that. Like, I'm not breaking rules per se. I mean, maybe I slightly am because I was calling them names, you know, and, you know, that was my material, man. Like, I hated that, man, because I was losing some of my material, you know, when I was talking to these cats, or you know, they started doing like, oh, you can't smoke them more than 10 reps. That's not in the PRT manual and all this crazy. Fuck that. I used to just take them up to my barracks, up to the bay up there, and get it in where nobody could see. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, the privates loved it, man. At the end of the day, they loved it. And they don't know that they love it or need it until later. But yeah, long answer.
I mean, it's a very I got to tell you, if you have to learn that shit out there in the shit, it's an inopportune time to learn it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So like, that's what
not good. You need to learn that shit early.
Yeah.
And you need to, there's a reason why these trainings are the fucking hardest things there are, man. They beat the fuck out of you for a reason.
Chrissy, that's hilarious.
I don't know what that meant. Yeah, I'm like, what? MEPS medical because I refuse to allow the bro,
yeah, they gotta check you, dude.
Check you for hernias. You can't have a hernia, man. You don't want to be out there with a hernia. I know that.
Yeah.
Talk about some pain.
Listen, man. Yeah, man. That was it. I had a couple. Yeah, that was, man. That's when all that.
It's inconvenient to find out about some of that stuff when you're in the middle of it. So that's all I would say.
Nah, mom's good with it. She knows what it is. She knows what it is, man.
There's been 87 fucks. No, there has not.
Hey, you sound like my own platoon sergeant, man. Like when I used to teach a class, he used to comment how many times I'd drop the F-bomb. He's like, there's a lot of F-bombs in there.
I've been hearing it lately too. I was told that the worst potty mouth on YouTube.
Oh man. But
I think that's bullshit, by the way.
That's a great title though. I'm not mad. He must not watch. He must not watch the JB show, Coach JB show.
I was just fixing to say, have you ever watched Coach JB? Because that
bro, I
dude,
was watching him this morning, or I was listening to him this morning, and it had me dying, bro.
Man, that guy is nuts.
They was talking about, oh, dude, it's so funny to me. I respect it a little bit. You know what I mean?
I like the guy. I think he's funny, but he goes way over lines. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit. He pole vaults over. Doesn't give a fuck.
Did you see what he was talking about with Troy Taylor and Stanford? How they're getting fired?
Yeah.
That
was great.
That's man, dude. Let me tell you, and I don't know. I'd like to know exactly what happened and what was said. Like, I hope they wouldn't fire him over some people getting in their feelings or whatever.
Weird shit. Yeah, just stupid shit, little weak stuff.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. But yeah, that's not a good look, man. It's not a good look for. And I mean, Luck's the first GM to fire somebody.
Yeah, that was the first. It kind of dawned on me, was like, huh, I guess they are the boss, huh?
Well, yeah, that stuff and that's, I don't know. I wonder if every school's dynamic.
I think there's different dynamics, I would think, at different places. But
I don't know.
If they're hiring you as the GM and like in Nagy's position, I think that they're gonna go by what he thinks more time. I mean, the higher ups would for sure.
Well, supposedly there was already a report and he'd already been investigated, so it wasn't like it just come out of the blue.
Oh no, it was multiple times. Yeah, what we're talking about is Troy Taylor at Stanford, fired 2 3-9 seasons was the other part of it. They went 3-9 2 years in a row. They're not playing the NIL game, which is part of it, but making threats and even threats towards like staffers and shit like that. A lot of weird stuff there. If it's true what they're saying and what Andrew Luck is saying, and I don't think he's a soft guy or anything like that, but if it's true what he's saying, yeah, they had to fire him.
Yeah, well,
somebody had to fire his ass. Somebody had to.
Somebody's got to speak up, man. Somebody's got to say something.
Yeah.
I want to hear. I want to know. You know what I mean? I don't think we'll ever get it, obviously. And I guess that's kind of what JB was saying on his show. He was like, "Let's hear what's saying." Like, because he thinks they kind of used that as a cover up for firing him over 2, 3, and 9 seasons. And he's like, if that's the case,
you don't have to cover that up. You were 3 and 9.
Well, they used that as an excuse to fire him when they could have just said, "Hey, you went 3 and 9 twice. You're out."
Yeah. Okay. I guess.
Yeah.
There are old videos of very young Brent Venables along with young Bob Stoops dressing down his own players like they were drill sergeants.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, don't doubt. Hey, I've heard stuff about Venables when he was at Clemson.
It's different, dude. Listen, man. Hey, let me tell you something. That's one of the reasons why.
That's why you want to go there.
Let me tell you something, dude. I give my kids the business. And I don't hold back.
You know how many guys they got in the NFL?
Dude. But you know, not everybody's the same, dude. And I get it. But not everybody's the same.
He doesn't treat everybody the same either, does he?
I mean, what do you mean?
I think Venables is a yeller. He's a yeller, right? And he gets wound up.
Here's my problem, right? If you're giving it to everybody, like let's say it sounded like Troy Taylor was just yelling at everybody, right?
Okay.
Yelling at everybody, you know, tell them, you know, they suck, do whatever. As long as you're equal opportunity.
I think JB was taking up for that shit because you know that's what he was doing. And I mean, you've watched the show, haven't you? The show that he had.
What are you talking about?
When he was on Last Chance U.
Oh yeah,
beating up coaches and shit.
Dude, that's what I'm saying though. But like now, if he was just like targeting, like just the female staffers or you know just the black staffers, like that's a problem in my opinion, right? But if you're giving it to everybody across the board, I'd have less of a problem with that, and probably borderline respect the fact that you're just giving it to everybody, right? If they're not performing the way you want, like what are you gonna do? Like, hey, Jimmy, I think you need to do better.
Well, Chrissy's saying,
let's do better.
Investigated twice now, both investigations. Yeah, he came in talking about that he didn't care about NIL and he didn't want to deal with NIL anyway, that he was the right guy for this job and he was going to toughen him up.
I heard him say it.
With the wrong kind of I didn't love his press conference. I'll just tell you that. I was like,
we took an official there. We took an official to Stanford.
Hey man, if you get into Stanford, that's a good thing.
We took an official there, but like, the culture is not, or not even. I don't even want to say the culture. Just that California vibe. That is not really what we or my son really is used to or gravitated to, right? Okay. And I had a problem with them, like I was there for a day and all they talked about was the Fortune 500 companies, the CEOs and the startups, and everybody went through here, and like
that's what they're the best at, though. That's the thing about Stanford is
I gives a how are you going to win football games, coach? Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? It took them a while to get to the football aspect, and I'm like, dude, I'm not interested in that. Like, I just came from Cali. You know what I mean? I was living out there at Fort Irwin. Like, I was just kind of in that environment, right? And then, like, I'm like, dude, I don't care about, who stayed in the dorms and made Apple or whatever, Amazon or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I just like let's talk about football, right? And how are we going to win? Now they turned it around, but like I was ready to shut it down. Like after the first day, I'm like, this is not.
I don't want to hear this shit no more. Yeah.
But I did get to meet Condoleezza Rice, though. That was pretty legit.
Condi, huh?
Yeah, that was pretty legit.
I never met her.
I was the big tall girl that plays for the Sparks, blonde basketball player. So the first morning we showed up, we went and ate in where they all eat breakfast and all the athletes were there. And I remember like going through like the breakfast bar right there, and there's this big tall blonde across me. I'm like, damn, that girl's tall. I'm like, oh. I didn't know who she was at the time. I was like, damn, she's tall.
What's her name again?
Brink. Yeah, Cameron Brink. Thanks, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in the damn the egg line across, like getting an omelet or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, Mangino was a fucking maniac.
Yeah,
a maniac.
Yeah, like that's just, I don't know, man.
A lot of football coaches are. I'm not saying that's a problem. It depends.
Mm-hmm. And I don't like.
But you don't get away with the same stuff that they did back then. I mean, we had a coach in high school that he played in the NFL. He played with Terry Bradshaw at I think it was Louisiana Monroe or wherever they were at, right? Mm-hmm. And he played for the Saints after that, and he was a crazy son of a bitch. And my granddad had coached him at Lovington. Yeah. And that dude, he had 2 dips in his mouth out there, and he's like he was still playing, coaching that defense up, and he was wanting you getting killed, man.
It's football.
He was wild, bro. Wild. The attack dog, you know what I mean? But it is football. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's
I'm a Cameron Brink fan as well. Yes.
Yes, no, she's tall, dude. I didn't realize how tall she was. I almost want to say she's taller than I am, if I remember correctly. I don't know how tall she is, but
she's in the W. She should be.
I felt like she was taller than me. And but yeah, there was I'll tell you what though, man. Stanford turned it around. The next day and a half of it, like they did a good job. Just at the end of the day, it's a little too far. It was too far.
But the Pirate, the Pirate only lost it. It wasn't because of what happened with Craig. What's his name's kid? That Adam. What's his name? James. Adam James. It wasn't so much that he was daring Tech to fire him for a year. I was telling Coach this last night. He was daring Tech to fire him for a year, and they had to at that point.
Yeah,
it got too out of line. I love the Pirate, man. Love me some Pirate. Cool dude, but by the time when he had that year where they almost went to the Natty, the jump around year, they beat Texas like that with Crabtree and them. It sent his fucking ego through the roof. He did not give a fuck. He did whatever he wanted. He said whatever he wanted, and he was pushing buttons. That I'm not telling you that what he did wrong, what he did with Adam James was all the way 100% okay, but he would have gotten away with it had he had just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to do that though.
Mm-hmm.
He just wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I just I don't know.
Dude, Mike, yeah, and like Mike, hey, as crazy as Venables, Mike Stoops is the craziest motherfucker I've ever seen on the sideline ever.
Yep. It
looks like he's gonna blow a fucking. He's busted a spring on the sideline, dog. It just red.
Dude. Yeah, each coach is different, man. Like I get coaching styles, and you know I don't prefer one or the other. You know, as a rule. I mean, my head coach, and when I played college football, was probably the coolest dude I've ever been around.
Tony
man.
Samuel was chill, right?
Yeah, dude. I've only seen him really raise his voice a couple times.
He was a big bastard, though. He was kind of had that intimidating look to him, though.
Oh, bro, he
was real chill, man. Every time I ever saw him, he was real cool.
Yeah, he's cool as shit, man. Cool as shit. I was just talking to him this morning.
Were you? Did you talk to him?
Oh, yeah, that's my guy, man.
Coach Sam, how's he doing?
Bro, he's chilling, living a life, man. He retired, lives up in Vegas.
In Vegas, Nevada?
Yeah.
Is that where he's from?
No, that's where he's coaching at UNLV. And COVID happened, and he just kind of, I think that's when Sanchez got fired, if I'm not mistaken. He was on that staff with Sanchez.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just,
at UNLV?
COVID happened. He just retired, just shut it down.
Yeah, Sanchez got his ass canned. And
yeah,
bro, the Fertittas made sure he got that job because of Gorman.
Yeah.
And then, and he wasn't. It worked. He was good at Gorman. His brother took it over, and then, but I don't think he did as well.
Yeah. So so Coach Sam's back in the day, he had a job at Stanford. I think it's one of his first jobs coaching was at Stanford. And that's why I texted him this morning. I'm like, damn, they fired Troy Taylor. Yeah. So we've been talking about it all morning.
Yeah. Damn, man, that's cool. I didn't know where he was at.
He's a little bit Vegas, man.
And I should have known that because we used to go watch Gorman some. And then when he first went, it looked like they might flip it around at UNLV, but his rah-rah didn't last very long. It never really does with those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was I mean, they just didn't have enough talent.
Yeah.
They let them get out of town too easy. But now all of a sudden I don't know, they hired Mullen and they're trying to but CJ was telling me my son's still living out there, and he was telling me yesterday that he asked me, he goes, "What's up with this dude Mullen?" He goes, "Is he that good?" And I was like, "He's been good." I was like, he's one of the few coaches all time in the SEC that's got 100 wins. So as a head coach, so yeah, he's all right. And I was like, I wouldn't call him the best in the country, but he's going to do well at UNLV probably. And he was like, yeah, well, the AD's going around talking about that they're trying to, they don't have enough money for his third and fourth year at UNLV to pay him. And I was like, he ain't going to be there in year 3 or 4. That ain't going to fucking matter. He's going to go in there and get a bunch of dudes and he'll be gone. So he was like, oh, okay. He goes, you really think he's that good? And I was like, I think he's good enough. He doesn't really like recruiting, but
he's good enough.
If you can win at Mississippi State, yeah, he's pretty good. You know what I mean? He's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
The Matt Weiss scandal at Michigan, he hacked School Cloud and downloaded athletes' info in which he used to hack students' private intimate photos. Wow.
Jeez.
Michigan's got some weird shit going on up there.
Yeah.
Lately.
Well, I told you, I'm pretty sure I told you all the story about when we visited there, who our host was. That pretty much showed us around.
Who?
Old boy Connor Stallions.
Oh. Hey, he's supposed to be a fucking Marine though. He was not very covert about any of that shit.
Bro, let me tell you something.
None of
If you're putting on whatever Chippewa gear and you're on the sidelines,
he used his own fucking debit card, and they like literally had pictures of the people taking pictures and knew exactly what seat they were in.
Hey, my man was on the sideline.
No, but he was sending people on plane trips and buying their tickets with his own shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm tracking.
I was like, bro, come on, man. That's like,
oh, for real, Kendall. What was that on, Billion?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, and it was on Jay's show, I think.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta catch up, man. I've been playing catch up. Like I said,
they had him on, but he was on another show too. He was on with, I think he was on with the Smiths,
the husband and wife.
The Smiths. Yep.
Yeah, I seen that.
Funny, man.
I didn't watch it, but I seen it, dude. Like I said, man, I was on the cruise, man, and I was just saving for later, and I've been trying to get
the
back.
Smiths are a trip, man. It's a different vibe with them, but they're just, it's funny with them.
I like it.
I like them too, man.
Dynamic.
They're good people, man. They are.
Yeah, I like the dynamic. It's pretty cool.
Oh, Locked On Sooners. Was he on Locked On Sooners? I guess I missed that one.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch some stuff, man.
I definitely saw him on with Jay and them though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, this
he's got his own pod out now too, so it's
yeah.
But he was talking about material. We were talking about that a little bit earlier too, is that he just keeps on impressing. I mean, his interview yesterday was pretty good where he was with the media scrum.
Yeah.
He's just laid back, dude. It's all what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shawty says, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Hey, man, that sounds like an SEC guy to me.
Yeah. It was funny, man. It was funny, man. I had dinner with both him and Partridge. I really liked Partridge, dude. I thought Partridge lit a dude up in the meetings right in front of us because he was late. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And this was like the starting linebacker.
Well, Harbaugh's an intense dude, bro.
No, it wasn't Harbaugh. It was Partridge.
Oh, Partridge. But I'm saying, but Harbaugh's an intense dude though, too, though.
Harbaugh's a regular guy, man.
That whole staff though was like that. They're all crazy.
Harbaugh's a regular dude, bro. I sat in Harbaugh's office for 45 minutes, almost an hour, just talking.
Coach Khaki.
Dude, cool as shit though. I liked him. I ain't gonna lie. He had some family.
He's a good coach, dude. I don't care what people do. The dude's a good coach. He could coach.
Yeah, he had some family and stuff that lived down in the Kansas City area. We were talking about that, and like I asked him this is when I knew, like, I was like, he's keeping it real with me right now. So, Michigan and Stanford were both recruiting him. And, he had his little mural of players that he sent to the league on the Stanford side and then the Michigan one over there. And I asked him, I said, Coach, I was like, what's the biggest difference between Michigan and Stanford? And he gave one of the greatest answers. He's like, at Stanford, he's like, academics trumps everything, right? He's like, they don't want athletics becoming the focal point of Stanford University, right? And he's like, at Michigan, he's like, Michigan wants everybody to be great. Every sport, academics, all that stuff. And I was like, pretty legit. And so I was sitting there.
He was Captain America, Captain Comeback.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I took a flyer. I took an opportunity too when we were sitting there. And this was when Lamar was holding out, right? Lamar was holding out on his contract. And, and I'd been thinking about asking this question, but I was just like, nah, I ain't going to do that, man. This motherfucker don't really know me like that. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to. But then there was like a little bit of a lull, right? And so I asked him, I was like, is your brother going to re-sign Lamar? You know what I mean? I was like, is he going to get it done? And there was a little bit longer of a pause than I would have liked from him, right? Because the pause was a little long, and I was like, "Damn, I probably should."
It was like a little bit of uncomfortable pause kind of deal.
Well, yeah, but he was thinking, right? He was thinking, but like
he did.
I was like, "Damn, I pissed him off." I'm like, "I probably shouldn't have asked that." But
That's a
then he looked at
smart people school too. Michigan's a smart kid school too.
yeah, for sure. And then he kind of looked at me. He's like, you know, I think he kind of has to, right? You know what I mean? He's like, I don't think he could let him go. And then like he's like, what's the market for a quarterback right now? And he's like, who's the last one to sign? I was like, I think it was Josh Allen. And my man got on his computer right there, like popped up and like what Josh Allen's contract was. And we started deep diving in numbers, and Mike's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, will you stop? You know what I mean? I was like, and afterwards, I was like, dude, we ain't getting this opportunity again like that. I was like, I had to take advantage of it. I had to ask that question.
Dude, he's chill, huh? He's
cool.
Hell, he was up in tree houses and shit with recruits and was running those satellite camps down there in the South. That had everybody pissed off down in the SEC back in them days.
Yeah, he was cool. He's cool shit.
He didn't give a shit.
Yeah, but I was impressed. Michigan, man. Michigan was dope. Michigan was pretty dope.
Oh man, it's a great campus.
I was really impressed with their conditioning coach, man. I like that dude. That dude was on his shit.
Old money right there, brother. That is old money right there.
Yeah, it's a nice campus, man. Ann Arbor's dope. Ann Arbor's dope.
I went to a game with the Big House. It was Michigan State in Michigan. It was freaking amazing.
Yeah. Oh, bro, I can't. My dad's a Michigan guy. He was born and raised up there.
Yep.
So he's a big Michigan fan.
The Big House is a different animal, man, isn't it?
I can't wait to go there. I can't wait.
Yeah, next year, huh? That'll be fun.
No. Oh, yeah, 2026. Yep. It's going to be legit.
It'll be
legit, man.
A lot of fun. Hopefully, Strawn still be there. I think he's going to have a good season this year. It all depends on if that quarterback from Fresno's good. We'll see. But they're acting like the freshmen may be ready to rock and roll.
Propaganda. Got it, though. Paying him that much money, you got to play him, right?
You got to do so. Well, I don't know. They paid that kid from Fresno pretty good, too.
Yep.
And he's good.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. I don't know, man. I think they got to be better at quarterback than they've been because JJ could throw it a little bit. They just didn't throw it a bunch, but he could throw. But the guy they had last year couldn't feed the starving birds.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Terrible.
Yeah, man.
Straight terrible.
Yeah, my dog. I gotta let my dog out, man. Let me slide out of here. Sorry I came on late, man. I was on the phone.
Man, it was good. I was in the middle of a heated discussion.
I know.
I like Cody, man, but I get his ass wound up real quick.
That's just hilarious. It was good comments, man. Shout out to everybody in the comments, man. Y'all was killing it.
Hey, man, I appreciate everybody coming in. Big Bogle, appreciate you, big dog. We'll catch you here on the next one. Next time Friday we'll be back. So let me know if you want to come on. We'll glad to have you.
All right, big dog.
All right, man. Peace. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get to as well. What else were we? I don't know. We were kind of all over the place today, but it was fun. It was fun. It's always fun to talk shit with Big Bog. We, lately it's been great because I think that the show's kind of evolving into we talk about a little bit of everything, which is, it's cool. But I love talking ball. We all love talking ball, but it's been to where it's evolving into a different kind of show. But it's fun, man. I'm enjoying it. Enjoying it a lot, man. I appreciate everybody coming in. How many likes we got, man? Y'all run them likes up for me, please. Get over there and do it I added on Coach Dent's show because I actually thought he might be in here, but yeah, we got 400 views just on the YouTube side here on mine. We got 44 likes. We got more likes than we have people in the YouTube side right now. I can deal with that. But man, it's a free way to just a free way to support, man. I appreciate it. All right. But yeah, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. I'm getting scratchy throat. I got to get. We'll see you all on the next one.